Hello everyone, it's time for Comic Book Late Night Unlimited. I'm your host, Captain Logan, and joining me as always, albeit this time remotely, is my buddy Chris. And we have had some weather, there's still some snow on the ground, and Chris didn't really want to risk driving all the way out here in the dark, so he is on a webcam tonight, and you can pretend like he's like Austin, he's all the way in Canada. He's actually only like 40 minutes away from me, but he could be anywhere in the world right now.
Anywhere. I mean, it was funny too because like the highways were okay, but like everywhere around the highways were just sketchy enough. It's like I need new tires. So.
Dude, my car, or I should say the car that I drive the most, because we've got 3 cars, we're an 8-person family, so we've got decent traction on the Jeep and the Suburban, but I drive an Equinox, and if you live in a place that gets snow, don't buy that car, man. Like, it doesn't matter how new your tires are, that thing cannot, I can't park it in the driveway right now. It has been on the street for 2 days. It won't get up the driveway.
That's bad.
It sucks. I love that car otherwise.
Yeah, but the second like a flake hits the ground, it's like, nope, sorry, we're out.
So anyway, this will be a little bit different for Chris and I. We've not had a webcam dynamic before. We've always been in one place. So it's always weird when you do this with a different setup with another co-host. Like, if I had Austin here, like, actually fly out, which he's been wanting to do, I'd have to get used to that dynamic the other direction.
There's a person right here. What do I do?
But hopefully Chris will be able to come back over next time. So we had a pretty sparse week last week, so I'm not going to have a ton in the way of new issues to talk about. I've got 4, and shocker, Chris, 3 of the 4 are Marvel books. That is a first for this show. Out of 21 shows, I've never had that much Marvel, because that is the sorry state that Marvel has been in, and no, I'm not willing to make that claim. Although I enjoyed some of the Marvel that I've got this week well enough for what it is anyway. Stuff I bought for collecting purposes and for ironic, goofy purposes, and it hits all the beats. And then I've only got one non-Marvel book, and the other kind of shocking first for this is none of them are DC. I had a week with no DC.
Wow.
And 3 Marvel.
So, okay, we're the Bizarroverse. The planet is a cube now.
Yeah, this is absolutely this is a comic book Twilight Zone for me right now.
Exactly.
And part of that is because, as we discussed last week, Chris, we had a weird week last week with no Absolute. And I think maybe the week before also had no or hardly any Absolute, and then this week it's coming back with a vengeance, I think. I know a couple of things coming out tomorrow. I've not checked the list yet, because this time I kind of wanted to be surprised by probably the gigantic pull I'm going to have tomorrow. My guess, I almost want to make a wager with you, Chris. I think I'm going to have 8 books tomorrow.
Okay, wow.
We'll see what happens. I do know that the new Joshua Williamson Iron Man starts tomorrow. And I typically don't collect Iron Man, but have I given you my spiel yet on why I'm buying that?
I don't think so, no.
Sometimes I can't remember what I've said on camera and what I've said off camera, because I gave the speech to Austin, but to my point earlier, Austin is always on camera when I'm talking to him, but I don't always remember if I was recording. So the spiel I gave to Austin is, I can't not be there when Marvel finally has a big hit.
I mean, that's entirely fair, too.
Like, I could just read it after the fact, of course, but I want to own at least the first issue of potentially, we'll see what happens, the first major big deal renumbering for an ongoing for a long time at Marvel that, like, a lot of people really care about and that is consistently good. We'll see if that happens. And that's maybe not fair.
Yeah.
There's probably something I'm forgetting that sort of counts in that category. But
Right.
his Superman has been spectacular. Jackson Williamson seems to be firing on all cylinders right now. And
Yeah.
and isn't he doing? I cannot keep up with everybody. Isn't he doing one of the Skybound books? Is he one of the G.I. Joe guys, or I can't remember.
I can't remember either. G.I. Joe sounds.
Is that him?
Familiar?
Somebody
Right.
remind me. What is his Energon book? Because I feel like he's got one.
I know, yeah. He's so. I mean, Joshua Williamson feels like one of those writers who always shows up in like the weirdest places, but he's always great.
Yeah. Well, and this really felt like he's getting. He all but said this in an interview, apparently. But he is doing G.I. Joe. Thanks, Nicholas Bodo.
Yeah.
I second guessed that because I've not been reading it. I'm going to though.
Yes.
Like after Cobra Commander, I actually care now. I really do. I really do want to catch up on all that stuff. And that big arc they just had, that big giant war arc, sounded awesome. So I want to.
Yeah.
I actually want to read that stuff now. But he all but said in an interview, he needs to go do a book over at Marvel, and help them. Like that's really what it sounded like. You know, they're over there floundering. They need him badly. And to be fair, just because he's on it doesn't mean it's going to sell super well. Superman has been spectacular, and or at least what I read of it was, I've not gotten back on it since like 7 or 8. I need to do that. It's past 30 now. I'm not excited about the Reign of the Superboys thing. But if that book stays good all the way through that, I'll try it later. I'm not going to buy that as it comes out. But anyway, but it's not been selling super well, and everybody's blaming Absolute, of course, because a lot of the mainstream DC books just are not selling the numbers they maybe would be if everybody's hands weren't in the Absolute bucket. Some of that, as far as singles and collecting is concerned, of course, is well, and even if you're buying individual digital issues, some of that's also price. Where if only these things were like, let's say $3. I mean, I thought even a 4 was really pushing stuff when that became the standard 10 years ago. Now the standard is 5 and is creeping up even past that much of the time. There are some companies that are still kind of sticking to 4. We got a little bit of a draw on the line at $3.99 thing happening with it, but like. Much of the time, like DC will publish some things at $4. The Marvel, I think, will sometimes do that. A lot of the indies, I think, just because the print runs are so low, or the interest is so low, they feel the need to keep it at 5. But I was going to say, if we were at, say, a $2.99 price tag right now, which is crazy talk, that'll never happen again. But if we were there, I don't think Absolute would be hurting everything else as hard. Because if comics could remain a like throwaway what do you call it? Just a easy
disposable
just
entertainment. You know?
Yeah, like you're not even thinking about it kind of purchase.
Yeah, back in like the '60s, where you'd buy a comic, read it once, and throw it away.
Well, and
I mean, it's funny.
And honestly, Chris, I don't want to throw you under the bus, but I've seen the way you handle singles when you get them, and it's like you still live in that world. Like you still treat single issue comics like they cost $0.25. I've seen you like roll up books. I'm surprised you don't have a comic hanging out of your back pocket.
I'm just gonna move this over here, and I'm just gonna a couple things over here. Look, it wasn't in my back pocket, but it was near my back pocket. I mean, look, there's a copy of... Oh, well, let's see. This is a copy of Mr. and Mrs. X here that I'm just going to move away from, the vent.
The big difference between me and Chris, and I'm not, like, super crazy careful compared to some people. Like, I don't concern myself that much with, like... The exact type of Mylar bags I buy, and like some people do, and that kind of thing. But the difference between me and Chris is, especially lately, I have actively been paying a lot of attention to condition, and I'm looking at the value of my collection on a day-to-day basis. And Chris is over here, like, rolling books up. Like, take a book, and like I can't do this. He'll take a. I don't have anything that's not bagged and boarded on my table here. Here's a preview. Here's a preview. Chris will take a book like this, and we'll be talking about it, and he'll flip it like this, and then he'll like practice. I don't know if I've seen him crease it, but I wouldn't even be that shocked if he did that.
I'm gonna move this. Okay. I found something like really bad condition, but it was a like free comic book day Starburn Presents, so I don't feel quite as bad.
Okay, how unfair am I being right now, Chris?
I will say, like, if I was going to crunch up a book, I mean, I know you're not a Patton Oswalt fan. He's right there on the cover, so I'm doing this for you, man.
I really appreciate that. You know what? I'm now fine with your habits, with your comic buying habits. Okay, let's get into books that are. I'm just giving Chris crap. He's way over there. He can't punch me in the face. See, that's the thing.
That's right. I'm just like pulling my webcam like I'm a cat. Hey, no.
It's time now for books coming out tomorrow. Oh, before I do that, let me just give my general spiel in case you're here and you haven't been on the show before or in a while. At the end of the program tonight, Chris and I are going to talk about a book that was requested from a viewer last week. Do you remember who that was, Chris? I need to be writing these down because I always forget. I think it was maybe... Was it AMC? No, I think it was 5590 ERS. I'm pretty sure that's who it was.
Right.
And anyway, the super chatter in question asked us to review the Two-Face 6-issue miniseries that came out in 24 called Trial Separation. The actual story is called Trial Separation. It was released as a miniseries just generically titled Two-Face in the tradition of a lot of supervillain themed minis from DC going back about a decade or more. They did like right around Rebirth. They started doing a lot of these things where they had that really great Simon Kurdansky Penguin miniseries. I don't know if you read that, but that is freaking dynamite.
I think I read like the first couple issues. I mean, I remember it was really good, but it was just one that I started and just kind of fell off like the last half of.
Go back and finish it. It's killer cover to cover. But there's that. There was a Bizarro miniseries. I bought some of these things, and this Two-Face series, I don't mind saying right now, I wish I'd known about. I would have bought that as it was coming out.
For sure.
I've got to get my hands on the singles. The covers are brilliant. So anyway, I'm excited to talk about that, and if you would like to pick the book that we tackle at the end of the show next week, it's got to be something that's come out in the last few years. It's got to be something relatively new, and we'll read 6 or so issues of something, depending on what it is. We usually like to start a run, or it can be a mini-series, it can be a graphic novel, whatever it is. And Top Super Chatter gets to pick that, and collective Super Chat, so if you leave more than one, they all stack. And thanks for the support if anybody decides to do that. If we don't have any takers tonight, our current default remains. This is 3 weeks in a row. Our default has remained for this year Eddie Brock Carnage, which neither of us is especially stoked to do. So we're threatening that book until somebody calls our bluff and we end up
Save us from ourselves, please.
So
we're begging you.
Anyway, and also, Austin will not make it tonight. He didn't have a lot of books last week, but he's got a whole lot of catching up to do on stuff that he's not talked about yet. And he's doing those monthly reads, which he's already going to be behind on because this is the last week of January, but hopefully he's able to talk about 2 of those next week. and he'll be back next week, and we'll probably have a longer show with a ridiculous number of things for tomorrow. I think we'll see what's in store for us. Here we go. So next week, Chris, we're looking at right out the gate. It hits me with a triple threat. All three of the books that you're looking at the top row here on League of Comic Geeks are books on my pull list, because Absolute is, as I said, back with a vengeance. So, Chris, pretty clearly what's going on here is they were something happened with the schedule. Pretty clearly.
Yeah.
Because there's no way they intended all four of these Absolute titles to come out the same week. We've got Absolute Batman, Wonder Woman, Martian Manhunter, and Flash. I'm buying 3 of the 4 of those regularly.
Yeah. And is that number 8 too?
Yeah, Absolute Martian Manhunter number 8. I reviewed 7 last week, which actually had come out the week before. Or maybe even a couple weeks before. Now,
is that the last issue, or was
a Martian Manhunter?
I thought it was 7. Yeah.
No. So we talked about this last week, because remember, I was on the fence about whether I was going to hang on to it on my pull, because I thought it was going to go indefinitely. Originally, Absolute Martian Manhunter was a 6-issue miniseries, and it was so popular that they decided to extend it. But they've only extended it for one more story arc. So it is supposed to end at 12. And so I decided, if it's only going to go to 12, then I'll go ahead and buy those.
Gotta see it through.
And 7 was great, so I'm glad I'm doing that. But if it was going to go 24 or something, I wasn't sure I felt the need to continue with it.
Right.
But that's what happened there. So I'm excited about Absolute Batman because, and also Wonder Woman, just because that book makes me happy every single time. And I'm glad that I'm finally catching up on that and actively making myself buy that. But Absolute Batman 16 is the other Wonder Woman crossover. So they're doing so they did a story with Wonder Woman, and now they're doing a story with Batman, and they're connected, but they're not one story arc. They are like single self-contained stories. And I don't know what cover I'll end up getting, but the variant, let's actually see what the variants look like. Because the variant that I bought, Killer Croc's in this one.
Oh, nice.
The variant that I bought for Absolute Wonder Woman 15 or whatever, issue number it is. I guess they've caught up to each other now. It didn't have Batman on the cover, which is really funny. But again, DC is really nice, and they give you the regular cover inside. So you open it up, and there he is. But they've done the same thing with Batman here, where if it were me, all the variants would have her on them.
Yeah, because I think she's probably, of all the Absolute books, her and Batman are the two, and like Martian Manhunter are the ones that you always hear about. So you gotta do your cross promotion there.
Ooh, I might buy this one, Chris.
Oh, that's a good one too.
That is pretty. Only one of the 4 variant covers, or of the 3 variant covers, even have her on them. There's even this incentive that doesn't have her there. Oh wait, is she at the? Nope, that's a gargoyle.
Wonder Woman gargoyle. Basically same difference. Hippolyta just with like a chisel. Put horns on.
So I'm stoked, but I'm going to be having to really suck myself into the Absolute Universe this week. So remember, my guess was I've got 8 this week. I've already got 3, and we haven't even moved past Absolute yet.
Top row. Yeah, that's just the first row too.
Detective 1105. I think comics have existed for too long. Once Detective Comics is into the 1100s.
Yeah.
Superman 34.
I remember how big of a deal it was.
Say again.
I was just gonna say, I just remember how big of a deal it was when like Action hit like 1,000.
Yeah.
And then like every other book started hitting 1,000.
Well, and they had to go back to the original numbering just so they could make a big deal out of that, which we all knew was going to happen. I was like, there's no chance DC doesn't take advantage of being able to say that a book had run 1,000 issues.
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna happen. Anyway, moving right along. So I mentioned that Josh Williamson's Superman had gone past 30. I didn't realize it was this much past 30. And they've still got, apparently, Lex and Superman fighting together. It's crazy how long that partnership has been continuing. Because, like I said, I've not read it since issue, 8. So I didn't realize that they were still teamed up like that. I don't know if they're friends or if they're getting along, but they're fighting back-to-back, protecting each other on that cover. So that status quo has remained, apparently.
Yeah, so they might be frenemies. They might, have a complicated relationship here.
There's a Spider-Man annual tomorrow, Flash 29, Green Lantern 31, Miles Morales, Punisher Red Band, and then Iron Man 1. I think this has a chance at being a really big deal run.
I mean, I do like the 90s cartoon logo there, too.
Oh, that's true.
It is right in
the whole thing is a little bit 90s looking.
A little bit, yeah. It reminds me of when I still cared about ForceWorks.
Oh my god. I mean, I know what ForceWorks is, but I never cared about ForceWorks.
Well, I mean, that was the team in the cartoon show, so... I mean, I had to find every issue of, the Hands of the Mandarin crossover, because that was season 2 in the Marvel Action Hour.
I forgot that was the same team.
Yeah.
That's funny.
I mean, there were a couple differences, in the comic, U.S. Agent was on the team, and it was U.S. Agent where they decided to make him more distinct, so they gave him laser shields.
That's just as 90s as it gets. That's perfect. Much, yeah. I've got that first issue of U.S. Agent from that period.
Yeah.
But anyway,
it's had the Century though.
Did you happen to see the preview for that new Iron Man series? Have you read that?
I did not.
Okay, because it was in the back of a lot of Marvel books a couple of months ago. It looks great, and the art's really pretty, and it just looks bold, and dynamic, and I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, it's a simple cover, but it's effective too.
But anyway, moving right along, DCKO, The Kids Are All Fight Special, Paz. I mean, I'm liking KO fine. I could not care about any of the side stuff so far. G.I. Joe 18, that's going to start a new story arc, I do believe. And Roadblock makes his Energon Universe first appearance. I know nothing about G.I. Joe, so I'll have to take Image's word for that character being iconic.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. I think.
Do you know who Roadblock is? Do you know anything about G.I. Joe, Chris?
I mean, I'm trying to remember if he's the guy I'm thinking of.
Do you know 6 things about G.I. Joe?
I know 6 things about G.I. Joe. I can point to Snake Eyes in a lineup and be like, yep, that's him.
So, have I told you about the G.I. Joe game that's in the exact same system as the Power Rangers board game? Do you know about that?
You've mentioned it, yeah.
Where they tried to, they named it the Guardian system, and it looked like they were going to do a bunch of different properties in it, and I don't think G.I. Joe sold very well, and they've now canceled Power Rangers, and so they're shutting that whole line down, which is kind of sad, but they made a bunch of stuff in it, and for Power Rangers, and G.I. Joe got, I don't know, a decent number of expansions. So now that Power Rangers is finished, and they've put, on Renegade's website, they put all that stuff on sale because they're trying to liquidate it.
Yeah.
I'm actually considering buying that stuff now. I wasn't going to because I didn't care about G.I. Joe. But it all crosses. It's the same system, so I already know how to play it. They don't have a Zord system because they don't have Zords. They have a vehicle system, and it's different. So I'll have to learn that. But the game itself is pretty much the same. And after we read Cobra Commander, he's in the base game, and I'm like, well, I at least know I like that guy. So I kind of want to play as Cobra Commander now.
can you play as like the villains in
Actually,
it
I think
or
he's.
is
Well, that's what I was going to say. Do you play as him, or is he he's probably the boss? I know he's in that. He's in that box. He's probably just the boss.
You could probably homebrew it too. You could probably just be like, okay, if we just switch a couple cards around.
Well, with that game, the monsters and the heroes play completely differently. It's not, like you would have to write a whole deck. But I'm actually making custom cards now, so I could do that. But
you could, yeah.
But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I now have read enough G.I. Joe. By enough, I mean a miniseries that I really liked.
Yeah.
That I don't feel as weird about buying a G.I. Joe game. And I'll probably binge read this Energon stuff at some point. So I can be like, look, I know something about G.I. Joe. I'm going to read 18 issues of the Skybound G.I. Joe series so that I can say I know 6 things about G.I. Joe.
You know who Roadblock is.
See,
you can point to this guy and be like, yep, that's him.
He sounds like he should be a Transformer, though. I don't understand how that's a G.I. Joe.
I'm surprised there aren't more double ups than there are too.
Like, you hear that guy's name, and I'm just hearing Optimus's voice in my head going, Roadblock.
Roadblock, roll out. Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you pick, there should be a G.I. Joe called Bumblebee. There should be, like, a G.I. Joe named Hot Rod. There probably is.
There probably is a G.I. Joe named Hot Rod.
Probably. Because, like, here's, like, I had some of, like, the toys growing up, but, like, they released a lot. There were, like, so many lines that went up until, like, the mid-90s. And so there's, like, 8 billion G.I. Joes, so there's gotta be at least one Hot Rod somewhere.
You know what, though? You could even say this about things that appear in Marvel and DC comics. Like, how's there not a Transformer named Stormbreaker? Stormbreaker. That sounds like a Transformer.
That's a great Transformer name, yeah. I mean, look, there are 2 different Scarecrows and 2 different Sandmans in Marvel and DC. I'm surprised there are. Yeah.
And both Scarecrows are in a panel in DC versus Marvel.
That they are.
All right, moving right along. Actually, I'm sorry, what were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, they actually had a... Well, spoiler alert, I found my trading cards.
Oh, there they are.
And at one point, there was, like, a trading card that was, like, Scarecrow versus Scarecrow.
Oh, really?
I think so, yeah. I mean, I don't know exactly where it is.
You guys, I'm going to harass Chris so hard trying to get him to sell me his amalgam cards.
Yeah.
I want them. I want those amalgam cards. Chris, I gotta find a set of those.
Yeah,
because when I was growing up, I did not know those were even a thing, and like I really want. My shop's got some now. They just got in a big collection. And they got some of them in.
Nice, yeah.
But I don't know if they. I don't know if they got all of it, and I don't know how much they're selling it for. And also,
I lost an earbud.
Are you good?
Yep, I'm good. I just had an earbud pop out.
These days, losing an earbud is like losing a contact lens.
I've done that before too.
Did you find it?
But yeah, like I've got Captain Marvel versus Captain Marvel.
Oh, look at that!
I have. Let's see. This is. Right here. This is the.
I've reviewed that. That's Bullets and Bracelets.
Bullets and yeah.
Does it bother you that I remember that?
It does not. It took me a minute too. It's like I remember there was a title, but you know, it's like,
he's like, I can do it.
That's the. It's like I was trying real hard. I knew it's somewhere in there. Like some of them too, like they've got the ones that were supposed to, like the 3x3 grid ones that you're supposed to put in like a single page. So. I've got like the Dark Claw, I have Super Soldier, but I don't have Thanoside, unfortunately.
Ah, that sucks. I'm very jealous of those though. I gotta get my hands on those. That's awesome.
I mean, these actually have like a really nice texture to them too.
I noticed that, yeah. That collection that my shop got in, they had a whole... So, it was somebody that brought in binders, and he had a whole page of Spider-Man 2099 cards from different sets.
Oh,
and I was like,
nice.
Can I just buy that page? And
Exactly.
one or two of them was worth a little bit, and they wanted to break the whole page apart. And I was like, dang it, I just want that page.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go back in and see how much of those they still have, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Just tally it up, give me a price for the page. But they were making sets. Because they had the I don't know if this is interesting to anybody, but they had the Marvel Masterpieces from '96, which is really hard to get, super expensive set. And I don't know if it got canceled right after that, and they didn't do a full print run. I think maybe that's what happened. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But the 95s are everywhere. That was the really big year, and I've got those. And I might have a few of 96. I got to go back and look, but I certainly was stopping right around then when I was collecting cards.
Yeah, after a while, they just started getting a little bit harder to find too. It used to be that there were hobby stores everywhere, and after a while, they just stopped having the cards they used to.
Yeah, well, I mean, the comic industry crashed in '96, and so obviously that was going to hurt non-sports cards, and then the card industry itself kind of fell apart right around then, or just after that, I believe.
Yeah. I'll just look at this here. This one with both Guy Gardner Warrior and Symbiote War Machine.
Oh, weird.
Just if we want to get real 90s.
Yeah, that's more obscure as far as the Amalgam characters go. Okay, we got to finish the books for tomorrow.
Yes.
Thanks for showing us those cards, Chris. This is going to be the problem whenever Chris the Discord's in from his house, is now we just got to take tours of stuff in Chris's house.
Exactly.
You guys can see stuff on your screen that I'm not talking about. Marvel Zombies Red Band 5 is tomorrow. I came back around on that series and thoroughly enjoyed 4, but now we got Null, and I don't know that I'm going to care as much, but we'll see what happens with that. I think that's the last issue of that. I think it's just a 5-issue mini. It might be 6.
Right.
Chris, I have a hard time keeping up with that, because they're all so different. Sometimes it's 5, sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's 4.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's 4. Occasionally you get a 3 here and there.
The End 2099 number 2 is also tomorrow. I bought the first issue of that, and I didn't actually get a chance to do a full review of it. I think I had read the first few pages, and then the show was about to start, and so I mentioned it, but I didn't really get deep into it. But what I saw of it, I liked well enough. I will probably buy that whole series. So where am I right now? I'm at least 5. I said I'm probably got 8 tomorrow. I'm at 5 right now.
3 more. 3 more. You got this.
Well, Casey Jones is tomorrow, and I bought all those so far, and that's on my pull. The covers have been great. That series is mediocre, but I'll finish it. So that's 6.
Yeah.
And then
I do like that cover, though.
DC's Supergirl Next Door. That's an interesting looking cover.
Huh.
And she's looking for love. That doesn't look like it's for me at all. But that art style is fine.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a nice cover.
That looks like an old dating comic. What do you call those, Chris?
Oh, like those old romance comics.
The old romance comics.
Yeah.
I can't think of basic
Susie
words.
feels for Johnny, but Johnny has eyes for Betty.
Power Rangers Prime 14 is tomorrow. That book is getting canceled. I don't know how many issues it's going to get before it finishes, but good riddance, I say. But we'll see what they come back with. Anyway,
VR Troopers had their moment too.
Well, and they've got that spin-off series that I don't think anybody's buying. Meanwhile, Ninja Turtles Saturday Morning Adventures is already at 33. That seems to be selling relatively well for IDW, and I'm real proud of Eric Burnham for getting on a series that's that long and hasn't restarted its numbers yet. Because I don't think even his Ghostbusters went that long before they started going to minis.
I don't think so either. No.
I forget. Burnham's a writer I like a lot.
Yeah.
And I interviewed him back in the day. Super nice guy. He got me one of the coolest shops in the documentary years ago.
Nice. What shop was it?
I'm glad to see him still working. That was the hair salon comic shop that we did in Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Is that one still open? Or?
Yeah. It sure is. A couple of the stores we did have folded since then, but most of them are still there. I think maybe 7 of the 10 are still operating, which, considering
that's not too bad.
That's not too bad. It's been over 10 years, and considering how many shops have closed lately, like they've been dropping like flies.
Yeah.
Which is ironic because the one I'm going to now just opened 2 years ago.
Yep. I keep knocking my laptop here too. I have to readjust every.
I was wondering where you had your webcam. It looked like maybe it was just a laptop.
Yeah, it's just a laptop too. I mean, it's a nice laptop too. My girlfriend's brother actually helped pick it out too. He was just like, "Nah, Chris needs a gaming laptop." He's like, "I've heard about his Steam. I've heard about his Steam library. He needs something to play with." I will say that my favorite part of that documentary was the coffee shop guy, who you could tell was just over life.
Yeah, that shop's not there anymore.
Yeah.
That is one of the
few. Let me tell you about Diamond.
And it folded not too long after that, too. Moving right, it was a neat place, but anyway, what else have we got? Hey, look, a Killing Joke facsimile edition. You can't tell me that's the first time they've done that.
No, yeah.
Return to Sleepy Hollow, Witcher, Be Not Afraid, and then I think that's, and then after that we get into facsimiles in 2nd, 5th, and 19th printings. So
there's 2 Killing Joke facsimiles.
Well, they always do a foil variant. I don't know why they didn't have them right next to each other, but
right.
Anyway, so yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all I had. So yeah, I didn't have quite 8. I have 6. It looks like.
Okay, still ballpark.
But I found the 2nd printing variant for Batman Deadpool that Chris is going to buy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because look who's on it.
I mean, look.
It's your girl, dude.
I won't say no to Catwoman either. There she is.
There she is. That's his girl. So yeah,
it's funny.
Pretty big day tomorrow. But half my books are absolute.
Yeah, it's funny though because my girlfriend's son has been playing Marvel Rivals.
Yeah.
And I've told the story of on the channel before, but he, I guess, asked her. They're like, hey, I really like the demon chick in this game. I want to learn more about her. And so she asked me, it's like, sit down, child. I'm going to tell you the good news.
Here's what we're not going to do. We're not going to watch New Mutants. That's what we're not going to do.
We will not do that. That sounds like a plan.
She was well cast, but that's...
Yeah, I know. What's her face from Queen's Gambit too is good. I mean, that was great casting, but everything I've seen and heard about the movie has been
Have
less
you not
impressive.
Watched it?
I haven't gotten the nerve.
I'm gonna make Chris sit down and watch that movie. That is not the worst of the bad X-Men movies, but it's not great.
Yeah, but I mean, sometimes that can be a race to the bottom.
So that's what's happening tomorrow. Let's go ahead and get into things that we picked up last week. And Chris, I'll go through my stuff, and then if you've got anything after that, feel free. Did you? I almost said, did you bring anything? You're at your house. So
I've got stuff like right here too. I'll tell you right now that some of the stuff I didn't get last week, but I've had actually like pulled out of a pile somewhere this week. So
that's kind of what I figure, but that's totally fine. And we don't have Austin, so we got time to look at some other things. So the first thing I'll mention, I guess I'll start with my non-Marvel thing, and this is my favorite thing I read this week, Chris. This is Power Rangers Ninja Turtles 3, number 4, which is just a spectacular cover. It's got the Megazord fighting the Technodrome in the background, and a gigantic group of Rangers and Turtles fighting Mouser robots with arms and legs, which I don't think happens in the book, but they're cool looking. They kind of look like, I don't know. They're these like little mech robots that are Mousers, and the Megazord does not fight the Technodrome in the issue, but what we do with the Technodrome is like 5 times crazier than them. So this series is just insane and bonkers, and I love it. The first issue blew me away. The second issue was not as exciting, and I thought was maybe gonna be kind of a return to form for some of the things that I didn't care for with the first 2 of these. Because I'm not the biggest fan of the Power Rangers Ninja Turtles crossovers. They're better than the first 2 anyway. This is Dynamite now. Especially in the artwork, but the first 2. Yeah, I mean, like they're better than Justice League Power Rangers, which I think is pretty lame. The big thing that they do that I don't care for is just some of the new Ranger designs. Like everybody's got to be a Ranger, and this does it too. But it's gotten so preposterous that I've jumped over a hump of having of letting my opinions about the costumes hurt my enjoyment of the ridiculousness. It's just so stupid, and it's like it's perfectly stupid.
Sometimes you just gotta keep going until it gets awesome again too. If you're gonna be stupid, just go all the way.
Braden says you should be on the Superhero Rewind commentary for New Mutants. Yes, I might try to make that happen. I might see if I can force Chris to sit through that movie with us.
If you see me with like Clockwork Orange eye hooks too, you'll know what's up. Wait, that's the Demon Bear. No.
So they're making like this is totally like superfluous and like guilty pleasure type stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But it's just fan service the comic, and that was my problem with the first 2. And now I'm completely won over by it because I guess the fan service thing is so subjective that if it hits you in the right nostalgia places, it might win you over on it, or if it's just clever enough, or again the right kind of stupid, and that's what this is. So I want to spoil some things. I'm gonna tell everybody like I really like this. It's great. The art especially is fantastic. It's wonderfully silly, but I'm gonna do a spoiler warning and then actually mention some stuff that happens in this because it's so nuts, and a lot of you guys won't be reading this and probably won't even care if I spoil it. So skip to 5 minutes past this, or mute for 5 minutes if you're watching live and you don't want any spoilers about this. Because I just want to illustrate how every 3 pages something insane happens, and I have to see the look on Chris's face when I explain to him some of the bat stuff, crazy stuff that happens in the Do you care if I spoil this, Chris?
No, please go ahead. Honestly, too,
I didn't think you would.
If you do, I might buy it if it's a good enough spoiler.
Well, that's what I was going to say, is you might find yourself wanting these after I spoil this.
Yeah, I mean, you've talked it up, too. It sounds like something... It sounds good. So I'm not opposed to buying it. So
we had this, and I should also say this is perfectly readable without the first 2. Like there's a little bit of catch up to do in just knowing that like the Turtles and the Rangers have fought together already quite a bit, and there's there are now kind of power coins and morphers all over the place, and the Power Rangers and the Morphin Grid have kind of massively affected the Turtles universe. particularly in Dimension X. And we had this last issue, but Casey Jones is now living in Dimension X and leading a team of Neutrino Rangers. And so the Neutrinos are Power Rangers. And Casey Jones has a Dimension X Ranger outfit. And I don't like his Ranger outfit because it's got the same stupid thing the Shredder does, where it's got skin showing. And I don't think Ranger suits should ever have that.
Right.
I'm okay with them sort of reflecting the wearer, I guess, because that's, like, I get the fan service bit of that, but, like, Ranger suits have never done that before. It's never, like, the person morphs it, and now suddenly, because they're a karate master, they've got, like, a headband or something. Like, that's what it does now. Morphers are not the Mask. Right. And I think we've decided they're the Mask now.
If Dark Horse ever gets the Power Rangers rights, money on the table there.
but anyway, the Neutrino suits are really good. They look like they could just straight up be Sentai suits, and so that's fun. But yeah, so you've got in the first issue, ostensibly Splinter died. And the last page is, oh my God, Splinter's gone. This is a big shocker kind of ending, and you suspect that he's probably not going to stay dead, but it was a cool moment, and you've got Shredder and Lord Zed with this uneasy alliance where Zed's trying to lord over the Shredder, and the Shredder kind of has a similar relationship to him that he does to Krang in a way, and Krang is also around, I think. But anyway, I say that. I think I'm mixing books right now, because Krang's in the Godzilla book. I can't remember if he's even in this.
They've done a ton of crossovers lately, too.
I know, I can't keep them all straight. But you've got the Technodrome, so if he's not here, I'm not sure why. Maybe something happened to him in another book, and I'm not remembering now. But anyway, so it's just this gigantic war now of a bunch of, like, villains with morphers, both on the Power Ranger side and the Turtle side, that Zed has given to them. So even freaking Chrome Dome has a morpher now. We have a Ranger suit for Chrome Dome. It's nuts.
You know what? That might be what sells me on it too.
So, very first page, because we established this at the end of last issue, we have a mutated Shredder, or a mutated Zed, I should say, who is basically like a Super Shredder version of Zed, not to be confused with Master Zed from Cosmic Fury. His look here, I think, is actually cooler than Master Zed, and it's very much a callback to Super Shredder, which is great. Like I said, every 3 pages, so you have that, and then, here's Goldar in his morphed form. Again, everybody's got a morpher. Squat and Babu have morphers. Like, everybody's got a morpher. And then, here's Chrome Dome. There's Chrome Dome with his morpher.
I think, like, 10-year-old me may have written this, too.
That's kind of what it reads like. I think if you gave,
like, 10-year-old me a typewriter and said, write a comic,
So you got Billy fighting Chrome Dome, and then you get to the bottom of this page, and he says he's called in his friend, and now all of a sudden Usagi Yojimbo shows up out of nowhere. So, like, he's in this now. And I'm waiting for him to morph, although that might be a bridge too far for Stan Sakai. I wonder if he's allowing that, because he's got a contract where he has to sign off on everything.
Yeah, he keeps tight control of that character, too.
I'll try not to take too long on this, and then my other books I'm not going to have as much to say about, but I'm really geeking over this one. It made me very happy. And then you've got Tommy and Leonardo fighting putties and foot soldiers on the Rad Bug. So, like, that's cool. And then you turn the page, and suddenly... the Technodrome has fused with Serpentera. We literally just put Serpentera on top of the Technodrome, and it's so good. That is eons crazier than what's on this cover.
You know what? Yes.
It's perfect, and I never knew I needed that, but I did.
I'm good. I'm gonna go to the shop and be like, just put in my veins here too.
And then they're fighting Morph.
You got that power just cross over? Yes, good.
Then they're fighting Morph, Bebop, and Rocksteady, and then you turn the page and you find out that Splinter is not actually dead. Splinter has become the White Ranger.
Okay, not where I thought that was gonna go. I was expecting Splinter to get put like.
He's the White Ranger.
Time warp it. It'd been like. I was expecting him to end up in like a Zordon tube.
He's both. Oh, that would be great. But no, he's both a rat and a tiger. We put a tiger suit on a rat man, and he's got rat ears in his tiger helmet with his tail sticking out. Like, what are we doing?
I am so
it's
sad
so good.
I haven't been following this. I am so sad I haven't bought this yet.
And then
I'm going to go to my shop tomorrow and just be like, give it.
So here's the big cliffhanger, Chris. Every page, it's like you jumped 10 pages past wherever you were before, because it's just crazy thing after crazy thing. And then, the second to last page, we have taken... So, Shredder and Zed. Now, I wish Shredder would become Super Shredder on top of this Super Zed thing at the same time. Yeah. I think that'd be great. Yeah. But you've got the Serpentera Technodrome. I never thought I'd say that out loud. Sitting on top of the command center. They just, like, teleport it on top of the command center. And then you turn the page, and booms! We're just destroying the command center with a Serpentera Technodrome. It's beautiful. This is a masterpiece, this comic.
That sounds amazing.
It's like everything...
Every part of that just sounds...
It's everything I would have done with those two toy sets if I had put them together.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, this is just everything... This is just everything, like, 8- and 9-year-old me would want in fiction.
Oh, yeah, that was
the concept of fiction.
That was insanely self-indulgent of me. And now I'm gonna... I said 5 minutes. I probably took longer than that. And now I'm going to briefly mention the other books I read this week, and they were all Marvel things, Chris. I went ahead... I said last week I might buy this, and because I had so little going on, I decided to go ahead and do it, and I like the cover. I bought Psylocke Ninja #1. With a very lovely... In fact, this had some really good variants, too. There's a... And it was difficult to decide which one to buy, but I had the same thing with this that I did when I bought that Black Cat #1, where I went, well, the whole reason I decided to buy this was for the cover. So I can't not get the A cover. Right. That's the whole reason I wanted it. So I bought this, but I was tempted by a cover that had her with Elektra. And the main reason I didn't get that, besides... I went after this in the first place, is, I don't know if you have this, Chris, I have a little bit of a pet peeve, even with variants, with covers that reveal endings.
Yeah. I tend to kind of fall on, like, the Watchmen theory, where, like, the cover should technically be the first panel of the story.
Yeah. That variant tells you right away that Elektra is going to be in the book. So I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything, because if you're keeping up, like, that, you'll see that cover. It was all over my comic shop. They bought quite a few of those. And anyway, apologies if I did spoil that for anybody. But I expected with her on the cover that character would show up in the first few pages. And she doesn't. She's the very end of the book.
Mm-hmm. One thing I do hate kind of worse of that is when it's something that's in, like, one panel. Like, sometimes it seems like Jeff Johns did that a ton of DC. Like, I think it was Brightest Day, where you had, like, Blue Lantern Hal Jordan. And all it was that, like, Hal Jordan had, like, a Blue Lantern suit for a panel.
Yeah, that's true. That's a real letdown. That's real lame. Because you're like, well, this is the whole reason I bought it.
Yeah.
It's almost worse to do that than to put something on the cover that's not even in the book.
Yeah.
I think. But anyway, this was decent. I will probably actually go ahead and get the next issue of this. I liked it well enough. which is a big compliment to a Marvel book right now, because I haven't liked anything they've been doing hardly. And when I bought that Black Cat book, I thought it was just fine and didn't feel the need to keep going with it. I don't know a lot about Psylocke, and the best thing I can say about this is I'm learning about Psylocke. It is, I keep saying like Marvel is very 90s right now. With this, I felt at home in a way with the 90s-ness of this book, where like it took itself seriously enough, but it looks a little 90s. It's going back to kind of some 80s and 90s like status quo stuff. Most of this takes place in the past, so Psylocke has kind of a Weapon X thing in this, where she's picked up by the hand to fight another organization, and it looks like she's kind of brought in to replace Elektra, and then it turns out that they're also gonna bring Elektra back at the same time. And my main criticism of this is it's just a little overwritten. It's a little overly wordy for the story it's telling. I feel like it gets enough done, but I feel like it just says a lot more than it needs to say. And I think it's the kind of book that could be leaning more on its art than its words. But I like all the kind of internal stuff with her about how she uses her telepathy, and the way she's careful not to misuse it with people, and the times that there's kind of some ethical conundrum with it, like when do you read the minds of your friends and when you don't, that sort of thing. And I'm liking the Wolverine parallels with it too, where it kind of reads like, and again, I don't know anything about Psylocke, so I don't know if this is just already a Psylocke thing, and they're kind of bringing it more into focus. But the idea that, this reads like almost a what if thing, where it's like she's Weapon X if he actually stayed Weapon X.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it's been a while since I've actually read the what we think of as the Quanon Psylocke origin, where she actually gets body swapped. But if I remember right, it was like Wolverine and Jubilee who were trying to find her, and that was kind of like the first fight.
Okay.
Again, it's been a while too, but I just remember at the beginning it was a meeting because she got brainwashed basically by both the Hand and the Mandarin working together.
Okay.
And the Hand, at first, like, why would we want to work with you? You can't even beat Iron Man.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. He's not in this.
Yeah. So
far they like the hand has a leader that I wasn't familiar with in this.
Yeah, a lot of like early Psylocke stuff. I mean, when most people think of Psylocke, I think they just kind of assume that she just sort of popped up in Jim Lee's run. I mean, she's a character that's been around for, I mean, even since like, if I remember right, even like Dark Phoenix era too.
Yeah, I think she goes back that far.
So I mean, but again, too, it's a character that most people don't really pay that much attention to her origins. They just when most people think of Psylocke, they just think, again, she just popped up fully.
No, I knew nothing about her background. I think most people just know her for the costume and for the fact that she's got like the psionic thing with her hands. It's like, oh, her hands glow. Yeah. Everybody remembers that about that character. Her name's Betsy and her hands glow. That's what I know about Psylocke.
Her hands glow.
But
she's got glowy hands.
There's an amusing bit, because I thought, in 2026 we might, and that's why I was a little bit surprised by that cover, that we might be a little bit dodgy about that very revealing outfit. And there's this amusing bit where when she, half the issue you don't really see her in that, and then we do a time skip after she gets brainwashed by the Hand, and she's wearing that outfit, and she's out in the snow, and somebody's like, you're not going to put on a coat or anything? And she says, I keep myself warm. And I don't know what that means. I don't know if, like, her powers, can she mentally dupe herself into thinking she's not cold? But that seems not good for your body. So, like, I don't know, but I thought that was a curious line.
Maybe she's got, like, a little force field or something, and, I mean, maybe...
Yeah, but you'd think that you would have visualized that if you had that.
Yeah, because, like, her hey, look, she's got the glowy stuff. Her powers are glowy.
But I enjoyed that well enough, and I like Elektra, so I will ride that out for a bit and see what that's like. And also, my son Jason's a big Psylocke fan, so I bought it for him also. And then I got the last issue, thank God, of Spider-Man 94. I'm finally done having to read about frickin' Morlun and Kane ostensibly in the animated Spider-Man universe. The ending of this, for what it is, given that I was stuck with a story I didn't like, you know, I've never liked the Spider Totem stuff. This is not what I would want to have to read. Like, after all these years, we finally get a comic based on that show, and this is what we do with it. It's fine, the ending. I like the status quo that we end on. I mentioned this before, so I don't think I'm spoiling too much, but in, like, the second issue, it's revealed that Aunt May knows that Peter Parker was Spider-Man, and we're dealing with that more by the end of this. And so I think there's a nice setup for, and with him being, like, full-on married to Mary Jane, I think there's a good cool foundation for more stories after this were they to continue. Amusingly, there's and I won't talk too much about the actual conclusion of this. Like, Kane transforms into this gigantic like man thing looking monster, and eventually Morlun is kind of just like or Peter Parker kind of just talks him down, and that's kind of how he beats him. Which is kind of that show. There's a big. The ending of this felt more. I will say felt more like that show than anything else in this, and I appreciate that. Yeah. But there's it does the thing where we've got to, like, flash back to an origin we didn't know about just all of a sudden with 5 minutes left. Like, that show did that kind of stuff, so I appreciate that. Yeah. But Peter Parker has kind of a big, drippy, tear-jerky speech about how just because you've made a lot of mistakes in your life doesn't mean that you can't, be a better person and find some regard for life even after you've killed all these people. It's amusing. But so I don't know. Like I said, I think this ends better than it starts. Some of that dodgy art wends its way back by the end of this. I don't want to see this artist. Who is this? Toe. I don't want to see this artist ever draw Peter Parker outside of his costume because it's nightmare fuel. His faces are just super freaking creepy, but his Spider-Man looks fine. One of the biggest issues I've had with this is it doesn't look that much like that show to me, or it's hit and miss. And then what's really weird is so I started to say this. There's this amusing page right at the end after the story's over where they go, if you want more Spider-Man 94, send us your letters at this email address. And it looks like that cartoon show. And then and then right before the letters pages, they have a Spider-Man up here that looks like that TV show. And in between, when they show you all the variant covers, there's a Spider-Man at the top of there that looks like that TV show. And I'm like, why doesn't this comic look like that? Like, look, I know, right? you have TV show Spider-Man here that I'm spoiling things. Maybe I shouldn't spoil the absolute last page of the book, but like this is what this is what it looks like. It doesn't look like that show. There's places where some of the designs are there, but like it doesn't look like that show. Anyway, so I don't know. I have half a mind to like send a kind of snarky letter to that email address and be like, I would like to see more of this, but like keep DeMatteis writing, have him stay away from adapting early 2000s Spider-Man comics, and get whoever drew the Spider-Mans after the story was over. Now they might have just ripped that from the old promotional stuff from the 90s. That might not even be new art, but you can't find somebody to ape that? What are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, look, we got spoiled with, like, Batman Adventures, too. I mean, even a lot of, like, the X-Men comics, too.
Wait, okay, but, sorry, can I counter that for a second? And sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, but here's why you're wrong.
No, you're good.
You're wrong because that was back then. Because there were comics based on this show at that time that looked like that show.
That is true.
Just so when you say we were spoiled by the Batman Adventures because it looked like that, but the comics based on this show looked like that show also back then. They just don't now.
I mean, that's true.
And more than that, when we brought that stuff back with Batman: The Adventures Continue, have you read any of that? It had the same problem this does. It doesn't look like that show.
Oh, I haven't read that. No.
Do you know about that though?
The art is there. I don't actually. I don't know about Batman: The Adventures Continue.
Yeah, they did a whole series. What was it, 5 or 6 years ago, and it did the same kind of thing this is doing, where they would adapt from things that came decades after it.
Yeah.
And I can't get excited about that because if you're gonna do an extension of it, like if it's good and you catch up to it, okay. But if you're gonna do an extension of it, go back to stuff that they didn't get a chance to adapt back then.
Yeah.
That series has a Bruce Timm looking version of the Batman Who Laughs.
I'm curious now. Here's the thing too.
Nobody liked that book, or at least I haven't met anybody that liked that book.
Yeah, I mean that's also something that's been done in like fan art so often too, that it's like they were saying about like X-Men Apocalypse, where that like Apocalypse design was so much worse than like cosplays people had done in their living room.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah, I know.
Anyway, so yeah, that wasn't great, but it's done now, and I don't feel great about the money I spent on that book, but whatever. If it comes back,
quote too, put that in the trade. It's like I don't feel great about the money I spent on this.
I don't even think DeMatteis is terrible. I just think if it was anything but Moreland, it probably would have been better even under his pen.
Yeah, and like I kind of get why they want to do that, just because like the animated series had like that little bit of a multiverse element too, so be like, okay, cool, we can tie this all in. But I mean, does anyone really care about Moreland? Is that the hot new character?
Well, and they didn't do any multiverse stuff with him really. Like that's not even what this was. It was just more. I felt like they did it because it was an extension of Clone Saga and they had done clone stuff. But anyway, and then the last thing that I bought for new things anyway for last week is Spider-Man and Wolverine #9. Yeah, you know I did. We got to finish up this Thwicked arc. Now, I'm very confused about the Thwicked thing, okay? I don't understand this. I don't know where the Thwicked name came from. It's not in the book. And I talked about this with 8. It's still not here. His name is Arachnix. So it's way worse than Thwicked. But his name is Arachnix.
At least Thwicked is funny and thematic.
Yes. So I'm going to argue that if... Go back to the 90s, because this Guggenheim's bizarre, gimmick in this, as I've said before, is doing an amalgam for just Marvel characters. And if you had amalgamated Spider-Man and Wolverine in actual amalgam, his name would be something like Arachnix. Like, you get an X in there. So, like, I guess that name makes sense, but I love Thwict so much. And I guess that's not what his actual name is. So this
That's
continues to just be ridiculous and stupid in all of the kind of Guggenheim hallmarks, but really entertaining. I'm not even mad at him, man. I'm thoroughly enjoying this. My biggest gripe about it is the I don't know. He's having a lot of fun with all these silly amalgamations. The art is unabashedly edgelord 90s, and I really like it. I'll show you a couple panels. It's so like it's real heavy line work. It's real exaggerated. It looks like an Image comic, like a mid 90s Image comic. This is what it looks like. Everybody's just got these really exaggerated facial expressions. Every time you look at Wolverine, he's got this face. Like every time he's like. And then you got like Spider-Man with a big ass gun. There's a story reason for that, but out of context, it's amazing.
Finally had enough.
But look at this. Look at this. Every single time I see Wolverine, he's doing this. He's like, Arr!
I mean, that's just Wolverine's face, too. If you're not drawing Wolverine go, what are you even doing?
There's a fun alternate version of Dr. Doom in this that I liked. But anyway, my big complaint about this, I mean, it's a dumb story, but it's like the Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles thing. It's the right kind of dumb for me. You get to the end of this, and I won't spoil it for anybody that wants to read this. Nobody's gonna want to read this, but Spider-Man does a thing that throws Wolverine under the bus he thinks he's doing him a favor, but it's a really bad idea. And I'm like, why are you doing this now? And it reminds me how much of a TV guy Guggenheim is, because it's exactly the sort of over the episode cliffhanger that he would do in Arrowverse. And it's so formulaic and by the numbers for him, where I'm like, oh gee, I wonder what's gonna happen next. But I don't know if I'll keep buying this after the last issue in this arc. It's got one more. But I honestly might keep going with it, and I might collect the rest of it just because it's so nuts. And
sometimes you just gotta lean into it too. You need like that 90s edgelord charm, you know?
With the exception of Psylocke, because I did think this was solid, I feel like the only thing Marvel has for me right now is preposterous. Yeah. It's like, if it's out there enough, if it's the right kind of stupid, I might buy it and I can enjoy it, but I can't take much of what they're doing seriously. I need more of this.
Fast and the Furious. It's the Fast and the Furious principle, too. You just keep getting dumber and dumber until you loop around to awesome.
Yeah. I really wonder what the first arc of that read like.
Yeah. You just need your scene of Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson with a broken arm flexing out of his cast.
That took longer than it should have. Apologies. Other things I bought last week that I'm not reviewing right now. I just bought a couple of back issues, Chris. I got a couple of cool covers for the 90s Catwoman. This is another DC 90s chick series that I'm trying to complete. So I've got Catwoman 25. This is, of course, Chuck Dixon, because he wrote all of this stuff back then. And I've got 60. This is a super cool cover with this, like, nightmare Batman monster coming after Catwoman. And I did skim this one because I was curious to know what the actual issue was about. And it opens with her in a straitjacket in Arkham and hallucinating stuff like this. It's really cool. And then the only other thing I got last week is a facsimile of Daredevil #1. because Austin and I reviewed this not too long ago, and this is a cover I like a lot, and I just thought it'd be nice to have a placeholder until inevitably I will drop the cash, Chris, on a decent Daredevil 1, because I want to complete that collection. I've got more than half the original first volume at this point, and I've probably got more early Daredevil over anything else. For folks that like to collect Silver Age and are looking for a relatively inexpensive, series to collect, and you want to go all the way back to Stan Lee, to like mid-60s Stan Lee, Daredevil is probably your best bet, because a lot of people aren't after it, and for whatever reason, and they tend to be cheaper than other things, and there aren't very many of those number ones that are actually buyable, unless you want to drop thousands of dollars. And that one, in a mid-grade, you can get for, I think, around $1,000, if not a little bit more, like $1,100 or $1,200, and then that's going to be the absolute most use, because immediately the prices will drop off a cliff after that. And so this issue, like you know, in actual first printing, I will be willing to eventually drop that kind of cash on, especially because the rest of it I'm not going to have to spend anywhere near that on. But that's just a placeholder for now.
I know, like, with Daredevil 2, most people, don't really appreciate, like, a lot of the earlier stuff. When they think that, they kind of just start with Miller and just take that as, like, earliest Daredevil.
Yeah, you're right. And then, of course, everybody's been chasing Miller since that. I love the yellow costume stuff. Austin and I reviewed that not too long ago, and I actually really appreciate it. I'm not saying that is the definitive Daredevil, but I like it quite a bit, and I just like the look of that art a lot from that period. But Chris, you know what's weird about that whole thing? Like,
what's that?
You're absolutely right. I'm not fighting you on it, but the Miller issues are also not expensive.
Yeah. Well, I know, like, the one where Elektra dies goes for, like, $30 for the most part.
$25-$30 maybe. Yeah. And the 181 is one of, if not the most famous covers in Daredevil. Again, last time I looked, $32 maybe. I've had that for a long time and wasn't looking at values for a long time, and I thought I had an expensive book. I thought it was worth at least $50 or $100. It's not.
Yeah.
And there's other Miller stuff that does command quite a bit, but none of his Daredevil is that way.
Which is wild when you consider just how he kind of redefined the character too.
Well, yeah, like it's a major seminal run, and like some of Peter David's Hulk is worth quite a bit.
Yeah. Oh.
Now, admittedly, more for covers than more for the art than anything, but like. Miller was drawing some of that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy. Josh says you can probably get the Gene Colan Daredevil for pretty cheap. Yeah, he's right about that. Also, old school Daredevil is very fun. I like swashbucklers. And that's a great way to describe that early version. That's right. And that was kind of the gimmick, is he's a swashbuckler, but he's blind, and so he's not afraid of anything.
Right. He's almost the man without fear.
Well, it says that on the cover of the very first issue.
Yeah.
And I've talked about this before, but I always thought it was odd that, like, it's really weird how inconsistent we are with titles in comics and with subtitles, because Daredevil has never been considered Daredevil the man without fear, even though a lot of the main Daredevil series says that. But, like, Incredible Hulk is Incredible Hulk. It's not Hulk. It's like, why is that? I don't know.
I mean, X-Men became Uncanny X-Men, but you still just think of it as Uncanny X-Men.
Yeah, well, and that one is obnoxious because it goes back and forth. But when you look it up in collector databases and stuff, it's always Uncanny X-Men. But it doesn't become Uncanny until, what, like 100-something issues in?
Yeah.
And then when Austin and I
Yeah,
reviewed a bunch of Marvel #1s after we did the first several issues of Daredevil, I commented, just in case you missed that video, I commented there about how, interestingly, and this is just a coincidence, Chris, the word uncanny appears in the first issue of X-Men. There's a cop that uses that word.
You know,
it's just a very odd coincidence.
Hadn't yet. Eventually, Stanley's like, "Yeah, we need a subtitle for this. We need your."
All right, Chris, what did you want to talk about?
So I got a couple of things. First of all, here, I actually just pulled this out. I mentioned this. I think it was last week when we talked about Twilight Zone #3.
Yeah, a couple shows ago, yeah. Which I still have not bought a copy of. Because I thought I was maybe done with that series, and then I heard a lot of great things about 3, and so I will grab that at some point. I haven't bought it yet.
Well, the one thing about that is I guess the writer-artist was James Stokoe, who is an artist I really like, and I found a book of his. This is actually from Shortbox, which was an indie publisher based out of the UK that just shut their doors back in like 2019, I want to say.
Oh wow.
But it's his book Sobek. Put that up here too.
You buy the most random stuff I've never heard of.
Yeah,
well, I want to know what percentage of your whole collection I've never heard of.
I mean, one of these days I'll catalog everything.
We got to do it.
But yeah, it's a book. It's about the Egyptian god Sobek, and he's summoned to go fight Set, who's destroying Egypt. And I mean, the art is amazing. But the one thing I really
he drawing
like about it, yeah.
Oh, cool. So is it like a full-on writer-artist thing?
Yeah, full-on writer-artist. He does everything, like, even down to, like, letters and colors, too. This is just a one-man show here.
Wow.
But the thing I really, really enjoyed about this book is that all of Sobek's dialogue is just, yeah. It's just like, hey, guys, what's going on? He's like, funny. They're like, Set is destroying the land. It's like, all right, I'll take care of it. And that is the. And again, there's not too super much of a story. It is, I mean, just like a monster fight book. I mean, this is set here. But yeah, all of like Sobek's dialogue is like, hey, you're not supposed to be here. So I just really enjoyed that, like this big, epic, like almost kaiju battle. But the big ancient god who's defending the land is like such a chill dude through the whole thing.
You know what I'm imagining right now, Chris?
What's that?
A reinvention of Stargate that looks like that book.
I would pay money for that. Just looks.
That's what I want.
Stokoe, please do SG2.
SG2, the Wrath of Set.
Yes. I mean, I got a number of things here. I just realized that I had issue 18 of Radiant Black, which I haven't read yet.
Oh, wow. Well, don't jump ahead. Catch up to that.
I know, yeah. No, that's my... I also have part 2 of 1602 Witch Hunter Angela.
Oh, sweet. I've got that.
Yeah.
I've never read those, but I collect her.
I mean, they look cool. They look...
Yeah. But that is one of the most random things to sandwich together. It's like...
Yeah, I know.
We got 1602, which was an event from 20 years before that, and then Marvel Angela. Let's put those together.
Sometimes, I mean, there's got to be some editor, Marvel that's just like, you know what, why not? It's like, yeah, we've got 6002, we've got Angela now. Might as well do something with both of them.
Yeah, when crazy crap like that happens, it makes me wonder. And of course, I've been complaining for a long time that Marvel will just do things because it's never been done before. But that doesn't strike me like that. That's a like a weird out there premise that just might work. That's one of those.
Yeah.
But that doesn't feel like teddy bears wearing roller skates or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
But I wonder if a thing like that happens because somebody in an editorial really likes a character, or if that happens because it actually gets pitched to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things, too, where when you see something like that, it's either somebody just going, why not? Or somebody just having, like, a sudden burst of inspiration. Just be like, what would really work together?
Well, it's like somebody goes, it's too bad we didn't have this character back then. What would Angela have been doing during the Tudor England Marvel period that we did in 1602? Yeah. Anyway, sorry, carry on.
Another thing I have here, this is something I've had for a bit. I actually got to interview Graham Annabelle here, another writer artist. This is Eerie Tales from the School of Screams.
More stuff I've never heard of.
This is a horror anthology that's technically a kid's book. Like, the guy who Graham Annabelle is a writer artist, but he's also mostly known, like, he worked for like the company that did Kubo and the Two Strings. He actually directed like the Box Trolls.
Oh, cool.
I got to interview him when I was still at Multiversity, but I was kind of really excited because he worked on like a bunch of old LucasArts games, like your Monkey Island, stuff like that.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to ask you if that was a kid's thing, because it looks like it could go either way. Like, that cover looks like it could be actually all ages, or it could be trying to look like an all ages book that will ultimately be terrifying.
Like, here's like the thing too, because it's drawn like a kid's book, but it's not really written like a kid's book, because, and there's a couple different genres here. Like, there's kind of a Lovecrafty, like, Fishman story. There's the, like, isolated in outer space, but there's a monster on board that's killing the crew. There's kind of a again too, like, it's technically a kid's book, but there's like space worms popping out of people's eyes. So
okay, so it's anthology.
Yeah, it's an anthology. There's like a framing story around about like these kids at school, and at the end of it, it turns out that there's actually like a portal to a dark dimension that like a lot of the monsters actually are coming out of. So yeah, but again, it's got like this really, like, it kind of straddles the line, because again, there's stories about like a talking severed head. But it sort of straddles that line, but kind of actually, the one thing I really like about it too is all the stories are color coded.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
You've got the purple story, you've got the orange story. Typically, like, the framing stories are all green. So yeah, it's just kind of like a really interesting just anthology. Again, it's all from one guy, and it's a mix between stuff that's genuinely scary and then like one story where like a ghost shows up, and it's like a Halloween chic ghost, and he doesn't like do anything, he's just a ghost, but people are scared and trying to avoid him because he's a ghost.
Yeah, it's a real distinct art style.
Yeah, no, it's really, and the guy was like super friendly too when I interviewed him, and like he kind of tolerated me nerding out a little bit about like his point and click work.
That's cool. Nicholas Bodo
Yeah.
wants to know if you worked on Coraline.
I think so, actually. Yes. He's been in like I forget the exact name of the company he worked for, but he's been kind of just like the background of a lot of really big things, and he's been involved with. I mean, I say really big, but like a lot of like stop motion stuff he's been a part of. To the best of my knowledge, the only thing he's really directed is the Box Trolls, which I haven't seen and couldn't really tell you too super much about. But
Yeah. But I mean, I know what
but
that is.
yeah,
So that's cool.
yeah, exactly. Another thing I have here, and this is a little bit of an older book. It was a it was a Kickstarter I gave to.
I want to know how many Kickstarters you have backed.
The website told me. I said no. I was like, no, that's not the right answer. Yeah, no, But this was another anthology, another horror anthology, less kid friendly. It's called Deadbeats.
I haven't heard of that either.
Well, the one thing about this is that all the stories there's like a light framing device where it's like a haunted like music store, and they have like the little bit where it's like, welcome to my music shop, everything's haunted. There's a story with everything.
So is that also kind of a framing device for the anthology thing, or is it okay?
Yeah, it's a little bit. I mean, it doesn't pop up in every story. Every so often, like, you see it just featured. But, there's different things. There's, like, the woman whose boyfriend, died years ago, but, like, whenever she hears a song on the radio, his ghost comes back. There's, like, a haunted metronome. There's one where like an archaeologist finds like a flute in like a pyramid somewhere. And of course, when she plays it, it kills her. There's like a nice variety of art styles. Like some are a little bit more cartoony than others. Some are a little bit more realistic.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it's a wide...
So are there a bunch of different artists on it?
Bunch of different artists. There's like a lot of... Here, actually, let me go to the credits here. A lot of indie folks, a lot of folks, a few folks I've heard of. A lot of folks I have not. A lot of the stories are written by a guy named Joe Corallo. There's one by Daniel Kibblesmith, or Kibblesmith, I guess. I think it's Kibblesmith, but yeah, his. I mean, unfortunately, I think most people know him as the Internet Gas guy. But
that's right over my head. But all right.
Oh yeah, it was a New Warriors reboot where one of the characters got their power from internet gas.
Oh.
But I mean, he's done like he did a book recently called "So You've Been Bitten by a Radioactive Spider," where it's like a survival guide for the Marvel Universe.
Oh, cool.
Which, yeah, I mean, it's really interesting. It's talking about like, okay, if you're going to crawl up a wall, here's how you'll want to do it. Here's some safety tips. It does open with a disclaimer, be like, hey, these safety tips only work for Earth 616. If you're literally anywhere else, this might not be of, any help. But he wrote a story called There Might Be Monsters. A bit of a tribute there to Senator Birdhouse of Your Soul singers.
No, sweet.
But yeah, it's just, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit of a There Might Be Giants reference there. There's basically, like, again, the only real thing that ties them together, I'm gonna get past here the guy vomiting blood. I'm not sure if anybody really yeah, just for the sensitivity of the viewers here. But yeah, it's definitely, again, a lot of interesting stories, a lot of cool stuff, a variety of styles. So
neat. See, stuff you
yeah,
guys
that's
would have
what
never heard about if it weren't for Chris, almost certainly.
and my piles. I found cable number 2 just hanging out here.
Chris, we've got to organize your collection, man.
We do, yes.
It's got to be done.
Look, in case you need, in case anyone needs just some emergency strife, I got you covered. In case anybody has, a deficit of strife in their life.
Chris, are you ready to move on to cover of the week?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let me screen share said cover for Chris here. Okay, tonight's cover of the week, we shook the phone and we got Batman Gotham City Secret Files and Origins, a one-shot from 2000. These were real prolific back then. There were a bunch of these for different things, and I think No Man's Land got one, and this is immediately after No Man's Land. So we would put these things out it's kind of a variety comic that would sorry, give me a second. There it is. That would I think there wasn't even really a rhyme or reason for how exactly these had to go, Chris, but I think a lot of them would be in kind of this format where you'd get a story maybe a little shorter than regular length or maybe regular length, and then it would give you just a bunch of information, a bunch of dossiers. It would read kind of kind of encyclopedia entries for things, and I think some of them might have just been a bunch of those and didn't have much of a story at all.
Yeah, and because I had the Justice League one, I had the JLA one, because when I was looking this book up, that popped up, and it's like, oh hey, I had that one.
It's
funny because
I think a lot of kids appreciated stuff like this, pre-internet or just during early internet, because if you couldn't get your hands on a whole lot of comics, or you couldn't get complete stories, you'd get these kind of reference guides that would give you truncated backstories and histories about characters that might show up in a book but you didn't know anything about them, and this is one of the big ways that we learned stuff as comic fans back then. And so I had reference books back then where you'd have a DC guide to the universe or just to Batman or whatever it is, and then you'd have shorter issues that kind of did that with just a few characters, and this one included a bunch of characters I've never heard of.
Yeah, I know. I was looking through these, and it was like, okay, this is a character that never showed up again. It's we got these popular villains who I can't even remember any of their names now, too.
Well, we'll look at them. I pulled these images down, but these are fun snapshots in time, Chris, because you're right. We'll introduce a character and kind of expect them to matter. And then 10 years later, whoever put this together might look back on it and be like, we shouldn't have featured that character. Nobody cared. We never brought that person back.
We put Nuke from Daredevil for some reason, even though this is a DC Batman book.
Meanwhile, the headliner here is Cassandra Cain, and this kind of reads like an introduction to her for anybody that missed No Man's Land or didn't read her sections of No Man's Land. And this is a character that easily could have come and gone like that. They could have, and I mean, they made a pretty big deal out of her during No Man's Land. That's where she's introduced. But they didn't have any way of knowing how big of a deal she would be after this, and that she would get in ongoing that would go on for a bazillion issues. And of course she disappeared for a while and is now back and is Batgirl again right now as we speak. So this kind of goes that other way also, where it's kind of treating this character like she's probably going to be a big deal. They got that one right.
They got one. They did get the staff of the Gotham Gazette though.
That's true. So I was kind of surprised that something relatively, I mean, it's minor, but like relatively important actually happens in this, because I would have expected any story in this just to be completely throwaway. We get the very first in-canon meeting between Cassandra Cain and Catwoman in this issue. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
I do like how Catwoman's like, yeah, she doesn't know who I am. She probably thinks I'm a superhero.
I'm wearing a costume.
She doesn't see me.
I'm going to go do an ostensibly superheroic thing, and I'm going to manipulate her and make her think that I'm a superhero. That whole thing's fun.
Exactly, yeah. Like, we fought the Penguin. That's hero-y, right?
Yeah, this bit of the comic kind of just reads like an issue of her book before we get to her book.
A little bit, actually, yeah. It's kind of funny because I was...
Or like a Birds of Prey issue.
Yeah.
It could have been that too.
Could have been that too, yeah. It was funny because I was expecting something more... I know it's like such a cliche to say that Gotham is a character in Batman books, but like I was expecting something more about like the city itself and more about, because I was reading that part.
That's a good point.
It was like, yep, we're gonna go to the park. We're gonna go to Robinson Park. Hey, there's the stadium where the Knights play.
That's true. It's like in that way, it's like we're doing a little bit of a tour of the city, but it's focused a lot more on the introduction of Batgirl, and then immediately after this, it's gonna give us a bunch of files that give you like a map of Gotham, and then it shows you like various important places in the city. And so with that stuff, like it is like files in origin of Gotham City when you get past the actual story stuff.
Right. And it's funny because wasn't it Denny O'Neil who said that you should never actually have a map of Gotham? And then like No Man's Land happens, like, we kind of need one now.
Yeah, that's really hilarious because the No Man's Land, and O'Neil didn't write this, admittedly, but the No Man's Land novel includes a map. Like the novelization includes a map.
Yeah.
It's in the front cover. It might be the same one that's in this, actually.
Yeah, because I remember it was after No Man's Land where they were kind of just standardizing everything. They were like, all right, this is what Gotham looks like. This, these are landmarks in the city. If I remember right, that's when they got rid of the oval, where they're like, this is just sort of like a fresh start for the line. We need like a new costume, so we're gonna go back to just the bat.
Yeah, I feel like
that's
this period is where we get to the arguably the most like specific and distinct series Bible for Batman, and where editorial really has their reins on what you like can and can't do in this universe, and not in a way that feels ultra oppressive. It just feels like they're a lot more careful about it than maybe they have been in times past. And I mean, I've always praised the period a decade before this for in DC, just in general, having a good sense of continuity. This is the period where, and it's because of Cataclysm in No Man's Land more than anything, that it feels like there is, like you said, a just really like specific layout of everything.
Yeah. And I just saw Braden's question there. I want to say it was like right when he was writing, so like late 60s, early 70s. So I mean, 20 to 30 years before.
Yeah, I had never heard that.
Yeah, it could be. It might not even be Denny O'Neil too. It's just I knew it was somebody who, there's at least somebody early on in just immediate like early Bronze Age Batman that was like never never draw a map of Gotham. Just never do that. Its borders are exactly where you want them to be and exactly not where they don't need to be. So,
Well, I mean, that makes things
um,
more convenient as the writer. I disagree with
yeah,
that, having lived through this period and loved it. Like, this is my favorite
yeah.
period for Batman. And I
Oh yeah,
really
yeah, yeah.
liked being able to track everything. It's got, I guess what I was trying to
Yeah.
say earlier is it's got like a Star Trek quality about it, where it's like
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
exactly where everything is, and like you
Mhm.
can look at a map of the Alpha Quadrant, the Beta Quadrant. You know exactly where all the planets are.
Exactly, yeah. It's funny too because I know we were talking about how pre like wiki books like these were the only ways you knew about certain characters or knew what like I'll be honest too, when I was a kid, I would track down like the handbook to the Marvel Universe too.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, like I've got a ton of those issues, but I never bought them anywhere other than like garage sales.
Well, and I had the same thing, and you had like Who's Who in the DC universe. I've been buying those up lately,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's exactly this sort of thing. I but I appreciated we actually got a story in this, and
Yeah, yeah.
it's
And we
pretty
got like a
decent. And it's a
and we got a
really
couple too.
yeah, well, and a couple other like shorter kind of cute stories. This
Yeah,
has
yeah.
much more of a beginning, middle, and end, but it seems like the main
Yeah.
point of it is, like I
Mhm.
said, just to introduce you to this character, and it's a really good kind of snapshot of Cassandra Cain, and
Yeah.
in a real um, natural way. It gives you all the important information about her. Like she doesn't speak, and
Yeah.
she was raised by Cain, and she didn't like see another human being or hear speech for until
Here,
she was a
speech.
teenager.
Mhm.
And like all stuff that I already know about this character. It was a nice refresher.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but if you don't know her at all, it's a really good way to get that, and it just gives you a nice sense of the status quo immediately after No Man's Land. Like, it's a good place to check in, and I don't
Yeah.
know who would have been buying this at the time because it's odd that it doesn't have No Man's Land anywhere on the cover. Like I would have called this like No Man's Land Aftermath, Secret Files and Origins, or something, because it's such a
Yeah.
specific time and place. Like it
Oh
really
yeah, for
matters
sure.
that it's right after that happened.
Yeah. And like
And
again
like
too, you're right. Like it
when they get to the file, sorry, on like
yeah.
got the GCPD, like that
Mhm.
list of characters, it's everybody that was important in No Man's Land.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think like even the GCPD, like a lot of those characters more than um again like the a lot of the villains they mentioned afterwards, a lot of the, mob families they mentioned, how those are the characters that have actually kind of stuck around since. Like you still have like Renee Montoya and so I mean it's funny how again like a lot of this story is kind of and you're right too, it does a really good job of giving you everything you need to know about Cassandra Cain. Like if you come into this fresh, you immediately get what her deal is. There's the map. Yeah. Um
And I just skimmed all this.
so
Obviously, I didn't read this entire thing cover to cover. But
yeah.
like I said, when you're a kid, it's really nice to have all this stuff.
Oh yeah, no. Like I was the kind of nerd who
Oh yeah,
mostly liked
Crispus
the
Allen.
Floor Planet. Yes. Oh, we get like some. It's funny because like you get like the Huntress, you get like a refresher of who like Batman is too, and it
Yeah, it's
starts
really
getting
funny.
like
It's got a
what.
file just on Batman. It's like I didn't know who that was.
Honestly, too, if you're somebody that's maybe like coming in, like No Man's Land just ended, it's a fresh start. It's probably like the best jumping on point, and just in general too. So it probably doesn't hurt to be like, okay, this is Batman. in case you, for some reason, don't know what his deal is.
Yeah, I would have
Here's
come
just
up with some kind of way to entice readers more to buy this, because it's actually a really good reference guide
yeah.
right then for what's going on in this universe. There was, you know what, I actually, and I'm too stuck on this, but I feel like this is a thing that I wouldn't have thought to buy. I don't even know how I wound up with this.
Yeah.
But like when it came out, even if I was real big into Batman stuff, but I would have put the word Bible actually on the cover of this. There's a Spawn one that does this that's called the Spawn Bible, and it's just a list of all the important characters and background about them. And if you put that on the cover, I would think it was important information and I would buy it.
Yeah. I mean, again, you mentioned like Star Trek too. I mean, I think I see my copy of the Star Trek Compendium on a shelf somewhere too. That's just stuff that it's good to have, especially pre-wiki. Was kind of sort of felt essential in a lot of ways too to have, just so you kind of knew what there was in the world, and just to know what, like, again, what you were reading about and what else you could read about too. So,
well, I've always been a sucker for reference for this stuff. Like, as you know, I have a gigantic Star Trek reference collection. When you use a compendium, I'm like, which one and what edition?
Yeah, exactly.
I've got probably every edition of that.
Your eyes roll back. I am the Star Trek Compendium.
I used to collect that kind of stuff for comics a lot harder than I do now.
Yeah.
I don't buy it quite as much these days, but some of it is because I'm not as what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not as invested in like the modern continuity and events and stuff, so I don't need an updated like Marvel history that goes all the way to 2025, because the last 10 years are nonsense and I don't care.
Yeah.
And so like I've got a DC and a Marvel one that go up through probably like 11 or 12. That's good enough for me. There was one that went through 16 maybe. If I had one that added Rebirth, okay, but like DC, I'm good up through Rebirth. And then after that there's pockets. Right, but I don't need to at a glance have to look up anything.
Yeah. Plus, like, that 80s, like, Marvel house style just has, like, its own charm to it. That, like, DC,
absolutely.
You know... Yeah, I mean, there's a charm that's kind of missing from a lot of, like, the modern stuff, too. And, oh, I had, like, those big, like, tome size, what was it, like, the complete history of Marvel, complete history of DC.
Yeah.
Last time Stan Lee was in town, I got him to sign my Marvel one, and now I've got it in, like, basically a frame now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, like my it was actually my aunt got for Christmas. Basically smuggled on my copy without me noticing, and then came back and gave it back to me just in like a box.
That's awesome.
Just to give you an idea of how tightly I keep my collection here. How well organized I am.
I've shown this on the channel before, but have I ever shown you the Stan Lee autograph that I have?
I think you may have, but it's been a while.
I have a, speaking of the Spider-Man animated series, I have a framed Spider-Man versus Doc Ock picture from that show that Stan Lee signed a bunch of on television while he was giving an interview.
Yeah.
There's like a certain number of them, and I ended up with one of those when I was a kid, and I've hung on to that. Anyway, had you ever heard of Arak Hat?
I had not, no.
That one was new to me. So this one I did read about, and he's nuts. He's a reverse genie. Did you read about this guy? So he's a demon that is like a demon, or that's like a genie, but when you conjure him, he, instead of giving 3 wishes, gives you the option of 3 people that he has to kill.
that is... We need to bring that guy back. That is kind of an amazing concept.
Seriously, he's nuts. And then this other guy, Jaeger, who's also referred to as... Is it the same character? Because he's referred to in the actual text as Hollerzolrin. That just rolls off right off the tongue.
Rolls off the tongue.
So he is a hunter like a Craven or something, except he's the opposite in that he's horribly ruthless and is trying to make as many endangered species obsolete as possible.
That's
how evil this guy is. He's like full on anti-animal rights, and he's going around trying to genocide entire animal species. I don't know what his motivation is for doing this. Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah. See, some of these characters just sound like, why didn't they become bigger than they are? Because that's legitimately a great concept. I would read about that.
Wildlife management experts and zoologists hold him personally responsible for the near extinction of at least a dozen species. A bounty placed on the head of the hybrid creatures known to the world as man-bats brings Jaeger to Gotham in search of new game.
I'm not saying that I have a Batman pitch in my back pocket right now. I'm not saying that if on the off chance, the extremely off chance that DC comes to me and says, great, what do you got?
That's the guy? That's the villain?
That's the guy.
It's Chris's favorite new Batman villain.
Favorite new Batman villain.
Yeah, he's like a cross between Kraven the Hunter and, like, Deadshot or something. And then you have this, like, psychotic patriot man called The Banner, which is a horrible name.
Yeah,
He's wrapped up in an American flag. He's The Banner.
The Banner. That's the one I looked at and thought, like, okay, so you just read Daredevil and thought, hey, you know Nuke? Remember Nuke?
And who hasn't wanted to sit down and read a full interview with Leslie Tompkins?
I know, right? I mean, look, I sure didn't.
Like Abbott and Dare, I've never heard of this. Or Adair. Yeah. I don't know who they are.
Yeah.
And then I just skimmed this. I didn't read these, but there were these bits at the end that are just like checking in with villains.
Oh, that, yeah. But they're all like imposters. Brian K. Vaughan wrote that.
Oh, really? Now I wish I'd read it more closely. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that was one of those...
I was running up against the clock there. I looked at that right before showtime.
Yeah, it was funny. I mean, there's not much to it. It's just, you know, a guy who's like, I am the Joker. I am the Riddler. I'm Mr. Freeze. Oh, but I'm actually all three in disguise.
Okay. So that's one of those things where you got to stick with it until the twist before you even understand why the hell you're reading it. Because I didn't even think they were related. Yeah. I thought it was just like, here's what the Joker's been doing. Here's what... But it's not
that's what... Yeah, that's what I thought at first, too. And then there's a bit... It's like, hey, why does Mr. Freeze have a Calendar Man suit?
Yeah.
Why does he have a calculator outfit?
But yeah, I don't know, quite a bit of fun things to look at with this. It's informative and funny for characters that never mattered again. I'm really glad that we do this exercise every week, Chris, because there's a bunch of stuff in my collection that I would just never have bothered to actually sit down and read, were it not for the show. And, like, I'm glad I know about this now.
Exactly, yeah, no, me too. And again, like, if anybody... Look, if there are any members of DC Editorial watching today, I got something for you. It involves animals.
Oh, no. I thought that was going to turn into some sort of a PSA. I don't know what it says about Chris that his new favorite Batman villain is a genocidal maniac that wants to kill animal species.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying that there are just some concepts that just immediately scream villainy. Like,
His,
if you just...
yeah, it just makes you immediately hate that guy. His snack of
It makes
choice
you hate
is
that guy.
endangered species animal crackers.
Does it actually say that?
No, but that was a thing in the
Oh,
90s. And have I ever told you about this?
I don't think so, no.
I thought that was one of the funniest things that I found when I was a kid in the 90s, where they had like the classic animal crackers box. But but at the top it was endangered species animal crackers, and it gave you all this like information about these sadly like getting close to extinct species. But
right.
So like the point of it was to bring awareness to these species, and that's great, but inherently it's problematic because you're eating them. So like it's like
Exactly,
endangered species animal crackers, but you're eating them.
It's like, oh,
so,
wow.
like,
It's
the
so
messaging is a little bit contradictory, it seems.
A little grim there. Oops.
My dad and I thought that was so funny. It's like, save the elephants by eating them.
Exactly, yeah. If you don't eat them, someone else will.
Okay, it's time to shake the phone. Let's find out. And Chris isn't here, so I have to do it this time.
Yeah, it's up to Cap.
All right, here we go. It could be anything. I am, what, like 30 issues away from 11,000?
Yeah.
Because I bought like 600 over break, so within the next week or two, I should be there. Here we go.
Right.
Chris, next time... I can't believe that came up. Because this is directly related to the comic that I spent way too long spoiling today. What came up is issue 2 of the first Power Rangers Ninja Turtle series, which is the first full appearance of Shredder as a Power Ranger, of Green Ranger Shredder.
All right. Looks like I finally have an excuse to dive in.
I guess that was fated.
It was destiny.
Krez?
Yeah. Look, I wasn't there to shake to throw off the timeline here. This is just fate realigning.
So I'm trying to pull this up so that everybody can see it, but it's just wanting to pull up the covers of the new series.
Right. Huh.
And also, I don't know how quickly I can find exactly the cover I have. So I may not actually be able to pull this up right off. Hold on.
Yeah.
Because I've got the Yellow Ranger helmet cover. Here it is. Yes, this is it. There we go. There it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what we're doing for next time.
Sounds good, yeah. I think I've got, like... This is the first volume, right? This is Power Rangers Ninja Turtles #1, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got one
because they do Shredder is Green Ranger very quickly. Because you remember they had action figures for that and everything.
Yeah, I had one issue from that. I'm not even sure which one. I just know that it was a sketch cover that, like, Freddie Williams. I tried to get him to, like, do a sketch cover, and he's like, "Dude, I'm so backed up. The soonest I could get to is like 6 months from now."
Oh yeah,
it's like, okay,
I
so I just went to, like, there's a webcomic artist that was a couple rows down at Planet, and it's like, "Hey, do you do sketch covers?" And he's like, "Yeah, man, sure." So he drew like a little Green Power Ranger on it.
Yeah, I always go to no-namers at conventions.
Yeah.
Almost always. A couple years ago, I got one from Dan Reba. That's like the one big exception I've made.
Yeah.
Because he happened to be available to do one and wasn't backed up. And it was expensive,
Yeah.
but it was worth it.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, it's time now for our final segment of the evening. We're going to talk about this Two-Face miniseries. This is a 6-issue miniseries by Christian Ward and Fabio Veras. Name I didn't recognize, but the art's really good.
Yeah. Yeah, the art was actually, it kind of, the art, weirdly enough, reminded me of Absolute Martian Manhunter.
Oh, you know, I can see that.
Yeah. Just,
I didn't have
was
that
my
thought,
first
but yeah,
thought.
sure.
Yeah. But yeah, just odd thing that kind of, I mean, a lot of this book really kind of reminded me of Absolute Martian Manhunter, just
and kind of for the
way it's
reverse
structured.
reason, right? Because like he's not hallucinating, but it's internalizing everything, and that art lends itself to, like that effect is useful with both ideas.
Yeah,
and he's doing a lot with words on the page, just like Martian Manhunter is.
Yeah, I mean, this makes use of its lettering, too.
Yeah, it really does. Chris, break this down for us a little bit.
So, yeah, basically, this is, at least in the first few issues, this is something that I'm kind of surprised that we haven't done before, because
that's just what I had. This felt like it was sitting right there for decades, and we finally did it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a legal thriller with Harvey Dent. It's a legal thriller with Two-Face. I mean, which seems like the most obvious thing now. Have the lawyer do lawyer stuff. Have the crime lawyer do crime lawyer stuff.
And where we pull Harvey Dent himself front and center, and we don't completely lose him in the Two-Face, and we address the fact and have a really logical, like, within at least the psychology of Two-Face, like really logical reasons that the angry evil persona has taken over and usually buries Harvey, because the way it reads much of the time is they're supposed to be equally present, but it never reads that way. And like this this attacks that idea head on and is like, literally, no, that's true. Harvey's just been totally buried much of the time, and Two-Face has taken over and kind of almost like perverts the Harvey Dent idea and pretends like he's a lawyer, but he's not really a lawyer. And so this actually has a really sympathetic, like kind of sad, understandable Harvey Dent that comes front and center that you're sort of rooting for. And watches Chris, like, I was reminded of the Penguin show constantly.
Yes.
Reading this, this feels like it could be adapted straight up to an HBO Max miniseries, and it would be wonderful.
Yeah, and again, too, like, the one thing I do love about this is that there's a lot of allusions to, I mean, there's a lot of references to the animated series with Baby Doll and in the what was the judge of the animated series? The third Identity.
I don't know, but you have the Reaper in this.
The Reaper from like year 2, right?
Is that who that's supposed to be?
I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, maybe so, because it does kind of look like him, but I just wasn't sure if it just had the same name or if it was actually that character.
Because they have a reference too where he talks about how he wanted to get back in the field and start doing like.
Oh yeah, that's right. Too. No, that is who that is.
Yeah.
And I've always said that's got to be where Phantasm came from. But yeah, not just in references, because you're absolutely right. So first issue, I kept thinking, this is like, animated series is somebody's favorite Batman working on this, like, clearly.
Yes.
And then we start getting direct references to it. And but already in its attitude and its tone, I was so at home with this.
I know, this was a book that like drew me in just right from the beginning. Like, the second I realized what was happening, it's like, all right, yes, give this to me. I didn't know I wanted this, but now I do.
Yeah, and the world building in it is really neat. Like, this idea that Harvey Dent has created, and there is a distinction, like the Harvey Dent persona over the Two-Face persona, has created a court system within the underbelly of Gotham. So the criminals have to follow certain rules even within the like organized crime, or they go through this like secret court system, and then they get punished through Two-Face's coin, and he mistakenly thinks, he's in kind of denial about it, that if he puts enough people away this way, that the regular court system, or the regular, I should say, legal system in Gotham will take him back with open arms.
Yeah, I know. And I did, like, the longer it goes on, the more you realize just how much like, the Gotham underworld doesn't necessarily want that, and B, like, how much does, Two-Face even want that? Does Harvey even want that? Or Bad Harv, or Evil Harv, where they called him?
Yeah. I was kind of surprised they didn't... It having so much influence from the animated series, I was kind of surprised that they didn't straight up call him Big Bad Harv.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's a little silly in a more modern context, so, like, I was fine with the way it was handled.
Yeah, I mean, it was basically that. It was just slightly different wording.
This feels pretty classic and also pretty modern all at the same time. Like, it definitely strikes a really good balance with that.
And there's little, like, clever moments with the art, too, just with even, like, the way his head is turned when he's talking about, like, the law versus, the chaos of... randomness of the streets, and just little stuff that's probably not super subtle, but just still like a nice touch, just still like a nice visual too, just all with like how his head is turned, which of his faces is on panel.
Yeah, it's not real subtle, but it's the right kind of like comic explicit.
Yeah, exactly.
The whole premise of this is neat. Like, the idea that Harvey Dent has created a mental prison for the Two-Face personality, and Two-Face is constantly trying to get back out. And so there's this nice ticking time bomb where you're waiting for that to happen. About halfway through, it looks like it's going to, and then it still hasn't quite yet. I also love the... And also, let me say, the Two-Face personality, like, I came into this hoping for a character study, and it was exactly what I wanted. Like, all the way from front to back, this is precisely what I was hoping this story would be. And again, it's just like that Kradansky Penguin mini, where it really gets in that character's head, and it's not a full-on reinvention and reinterpretation. It's, like, it kind of grounds what you know already in a more kind of thoughtful, streamlined approach that we've not really gotten a lot with this character, I feel like. And so somehow the Two-Face personality is arguably as sorry, I've lost my train of thought. Somehow the Two-Face personality ends up being like just as likable as the Harvey Dent personality, or just as sympathetic, I should say. And like, I'm so sick, and I say this all the time, I'm so sick of Two-Face origins. This is an exception because it doesn't start from an origin place, but we do get a full-on origin for the Big Bad Harv personality. And you even get kind of yet another interpretation, although again, I think it fits into the classic Two-Face mold. This character's been reinvented like 100,000 times, but like this is going back to more of the like 90s Two-Face, and I think it fits really well in that version, where we
Yeah.
even get a new origin for where the coin flipping thing comes from, and this idea
Yeah.
that he's had this bad upbringing, and it's a little typical. The way
Yeah.
he's got kind of an abusive father, like a verbally abusive father, but
Yeah. Yeah.
uh, he's developed this this what is the word I'm looking for? Sorry, it's getting late and I'm getting tired.
Yeah.
He's developed this complex where he
Mhm.
can't make decisions, and
Yeah.
that's where the coin flip thing comes from. And it's because his dad is way too pushy and
Yeah.
guilt trips him constantly because he just won't like hurry up and make a choice, and that gets into a place
Yeah.
where he just cannot make a choice, and he's an
Mhm.
only child and he's lonely and he doesn't have anybody to talk to, so he develops this other personality in his head that he starts using for various purposes throughout his life, and it evolves and it becomes that big bad horror personality, and it's just a lot
Yeah.
more fleshed out than I've ever seen it.
Yeah, like again, you're right too. It seems like I've heard people argue before that there's only like Two-Face stories that you see all the time.
Well, that's
There's
ironic.
this yeah, of course, flip a coin. uh but there's the story where there's his origin story, and then there's a story where he gets his face fixed. Um so it was nice, even though yeah, you did have the elements of that origin. That wasn't the story. That was just informing the story too.
Yeah.
Um, and again, like it did. Um, and there's been like other stuff that have touched other books that have touched on. Harvey Dent having a really abusive upbringing. I think it was there were those one shots that came out when like the Schumacher movies.
Oh yeah, I've got that.
Yeah, like I forget who did I mean, they were surprisingly big names. I think the Riddler one was like Matt Wagner or somebody. But yeah, that was part of that book. So that idea has been kind of floating around, but this is like the first time where they've tried to like synthesize. They've tried to really pull it together. They've tried to really tie it into what makes this character tick and what makes, I mean, at least in a way that's, I don't want to say comic booky, but that kind of builds the villain, builds the character we know, that builds actually plays into Two-Face versus Harvey Dent, what he would become and how this other personality would come out and manifest the way it does. And there's been bits and pieces of that, but this is like the first time that it's been like this really like fully realized thing that I've seen.
Well, and we've also
and again,
played, we've
go
also played in the past with the idea of rehabilitating Harvey Dent.
yes, yeah, huh?
And this is probably just the most compelling I've seen that handled.
Yeah. And it's funny too because there's the part where Batman shows up, where Batman's like, Harvey, I'm not going to get you off. You've murdered people. It's like, yeah, but we're friends. It's like, Harvey, you've killed people. You've ended human lives.
Yes, but what's cool about it is after we've lived with him for 5+ issues before we get to Batman, we see it from Harvey's perspective at that point, and we, the reader, are actually buying to some degree, I think, or at least I am, into his argument that it's not really him. And like once you understand what developed this character, the other personality, and that they're vying so hard for dominance, it isn't the kind of, there's a bunch of different kinds of Two-Face, but it's not the kind of Two-Face where he has a like split person, like it is a split personality, but it's straight up multiple personalities. So it's not like he was traumatized and corrupted so much by the acid. It's like that already happened. That was already in there. And the acid thing just brought that personality out where it could now fight more for dominance. And I like that I like that angle on it a lot better, I think, than the idea that, and they both work okay, but the idea that Harvey was like perfectly put together and then this broke him. Like, I think Harvey has to, and we've seen everything in between, but I feel like that character has to already have some kind of like messed up, corrupted psyche. Like, I always saw Two-Face as in like, clearly this is always baked into his character, but I always saw Two-Face as a Jekyll Hyde type of character, and this plays him more like a Norman Bates.
I can see that, yes. You know what else this book reminded me of? Immortal Hulk.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
That's my first thought reading this too. Like, this is you know, them opening the green door. So
yeah,
I mean, it is
like
really
that guy is in there, and it's this defense mechanism that he created to figure out how to even live in the world.
Yeah,
and
so,
it's also
again,
that
like,
it's sorry because this point you made earlier about something else. It's also that kind of Gotham as a character thing where this guy does not end up with this kind of psychotic break anywhere else in the world but Gotham.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny, too, because in a lot of ways, this story kind of played more with the idea of the history and, like, the sociology and the actual breakdown of Gotham as a city than, like, the secret files of Gotham.
Yeah, it's funny we ended up reading both of those this week. They always line up somehow.
They do, yeah. I mean, it's really again, like, a lot of the imagery too, like, the art's very good, and the imagery of the prison in his head where Two-Face is locked in with, like, Sal Maroni, and they're having conversations, and the parallels where he has to fight the guy from the Royal Flush Gang.
Yeah, is it just Ace or
Ace, yeah.
They have the King and the Queen, and they have Ace.
Yeah.
And there's always a different Royal Flush Gang. So like these are different Royal Flush characters that I've seen before.
Yeah. It's like, who really, keeps up with, like, the Royal Flush Gang? Who really has, like, their actual, like, attendance? Yeah.
Well, I like all the kind of game piece imagery in this, and we kind of treat the coin as like a game piece because it's a randomizer, and then we do that with cards, and then we do that later with dice, which I thought was a kind of genius move. I don't know if that's a new character for this. It read like an introduction of a new villain, but if she's been in anything before, regardless, I thought that was there's this villain that comes in at the end named Die, which is such a great name. It's like ominous because she's gonna kill you, but she has a dice motif, and she has the same thing that Harvey does with his coin, where she's obsessed with dice, and she can only make decisions based on what comes up on the dice, and then she's got all these interpretations on what the numbers mean. I thought that was freaking brilliant, and I also wanted to mention regarding that, Chris, just how interesting this is structurally, because there is a real tightly woven narrative going through these 6 issues, and it never feels like it like halts and goes off in an interlude, but each issue is a standalone story with just chapters that are building to the end. But all of the each issue, with a couple of exceptions, have
Mhm.
their own villain, which is interesting because Two-Face is a
Yeah.
villain, but Harvey is trying
Yeah.
to be heroic in his way, and so he's going up against villains that reflect his own psychopathy
Mm.
uh, and his internal conflict. And
Mhm.
I thought the choices were just really thoughtful and interesting parallels.
Yeah.
You've got like he is mining the Batman universe and the Rogues Gallery for all the villains that kind of have the Two-Face thing packaged in a different way. I had
Yeah.
never thought of Victor Zsasz as being like a Two-Face, but with just a whole bunch more personalities in him. But he kind of
Yeah.
is. And then, like, I never thought to uh, relate the ventriloquist to Two-Face.
Yeah. Yeah, like the whole bit of them stealing, stealing Scarface, them kidnapping a puppet, I thought was a cool idea. Them bringing in Falseface, who I don't think has been in a Batman comic since like 1942. I could be
Occasionally,
mistaken.
we'll do a thing with him, and like
Yeah,
I've talked about this before, but Batman 66 turned him into Clayface, which was kind of great. But
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
So
and
yeah, I mean,
he's kind of minor when he shows up here.
yeah. Um. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting how, and again, like all these characters having like their own like Two-Face related gimmicks and being sort of reflections of Two-Face in different directions was really interesting. And without going into spoilers
Yeah, I'm
or
trying not to spoil too
foreshadowing,
much, but it's hard because
yeah, just
I
trying
almost
to dance around.
I just want to do a full vault on this. Yeah, because
Yeah,
it's such an interesting character study.
yeah. I mean, again, too, just on top of going into the character, his psychology, I could probably read like a whole series of just like Harvey Dent crime lawyer.
Well, that's what I had.
I mean, just
Yeah,
yeah,
I'm not criticizing it for only being 6 issues, but I actually think you could have gotten away with a monthly with this premise and stretched it
yeah.
I
I mean, because it
quite
would
a
just
bit
be Perry
longer.
Mason. Yeah, it would just be Perry Mason, but with Batman.
Well, and just like twisted version where
Mhm.
it's the lawyer is a uh, like in a world of criminals that are all allowed to do horrible things, but just within these confines. Like that's a
Yeah,
really fun, weird, creepy premise. And
it is.
then
Yeah,
and then the second thing that would be interesting about it is that guy is constantly fighting himself.
yeah, and that's like the only thing that really I think would keep it from. I don't want to say working as a monthly, but eventually you would have to pay off the ticking time bomb. You would have to pay off the fact that there's this other personality fighting for control, and eventually that he's going to lose, or he's either going to come into some explosive conflict, or
Yeah, like that status
that
quo couldn't
eventually.
go forever, but you could
Yeah,
probably like let it veer off into a different status quo for a while and then
yeah.
kind of bring it back. I
Mhm.
like you wouldn't want to yo-yo with the audience forever, but I do
Yeah,
think you could get away with I like Two-Face, the big bad half personality getting
mhm.
the reins again for a while and then losing them and then getting them again. You can do that a couple
Yeah,
of times. But I'm just
yeah,
saying
yeah,
there's probably 12 if not 20 issues in this premise.
yeah.
I don't think you
I'd
could
say so
stretch
too.
it
Yeah,
much past that, but I think you could do at
yeah.
least the original like Gotham City Sirens run length.
Yeah. And again too, like even just like the little self-contained stories that are like the first couple of issues, I think kind of work as, just a great proof of concept too. Just the different, again, you've got the prenup that includes murder. You've got um you know, you've got like baby dolls stealing Scarface. I mean, there's a lot of it ends with like great shark committing fraud or great white great shark. I don't know. Great white committing fraud. Yeah, great. It's a big shark.
Yeah, and like you're,
The,
and like with Victor Zaz, you're allowed to kill these people, but not these people.
yeah,
We don't mind
yeah,
that you're a serial killer. Just stay away from the people we don't want you to kill.
yeah. And it's like, okay, so there's got tally marks for all his murders. So where's the tally mark for this guy?
Yeah, this strikes
I
me as
mean, there's a lot in this that is, again, somebody who just really loves these characters, just having fun and doing really clever things with like the tools in his toolbox.
yeah. Well, and it's equal parts, like, uh, fun and wacky, and also tragic and sad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And like it gets wonderfully tragic. I've just
yeah,
Two-Face has always been a really cool, interesting character to me. I've never cared about him on a human level the way I did reading this story. And
yeah,
that was wild. It's like I've been waiting my whole life for this Two-Face story, I guess.
yeah.
And I feel like
it's
I'm worried I'm overselling it, but that was the experience I
Right.
had with it today. I kind of can't wait to reread it because I had to rush for the show a little bit, and I want to spend more time with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, there's so much to really love about this, just not only as a complete whole, but the individual issues, I think, also kind of stand their own right too. How you've got, again, like this wacky comic booky concept, but you have real heart with it. You have real tragedy with it. You have enough to ground it to carry through like a complete story and tell uh really dive into what makes Two-Face tick, and Two-Face um as a character, but also as like a psychological profile.
Right, yeah. Well, and in that way, it's a neat companion piece to, like I said, the HBO Max Penguin show, because
Oh yeah.
that's also psychological profile, and that show
Yeah.
ultimately is all about how that's a man that refuses to change or can't change, and
Yeah.
is going to do whatever horrible things that he can do to get on top. And like, yeah, there's compassion
Yeah.
in there somewhere, but he's not going to act on it. And
No, yeah,
as a companion piece to something like that, this is interesting because in a similar way, Two-Face is kind of locked into his destiny in a sense, where like he's trying his darndest, and that's the difference with the Penguin.
Yeah.
Is he refuses to change. Harvey Dent is trying as hard as he can to go back to who he was before, and in a way that
Yeah.
character never existed, which is the reason that he can't go
Yeah.
back, because the Two-Face persona again was there before the Maroni thing ever happened. And so there's an exchange with Batman, and I'm feeling maybe a little bit better about the way Fraction is approaching his Batman after reading this, because maybe he's onto something.
Yeah.
Because I complained with Fraction's new Batman series that he has lines in the first issue about how no one can really change. And I'm like, well, what about all these villains lately that you've been working with, because they change? But the idea that eventually they always, almost this kind of meta contextual thing, where it's like eventually they always bounce back and become the villains again, because we're in a monthly comic book that we can't change too much. We've always got to get back to it. And somehow the way it's written here, I bought the speech more. Batman actually says more or less the same thing here, and I fully bought it in this context. And it's that idea that it's like, as hard as Harvey is trying, we all know that he's not gonna be able to get totally away from Two-Face. That's always gonna come back. And it's also an interesting companion piece to the HBO show, because Two-Face has a partner, as a sidekick in this, like the sidekick in the Penguin show.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like a protege
put that together.
that's obsessed with him,
Right.
wants to be like
It
him.
sort of falls into it. Yeah, they talk about how she's a fan of Two-Face, and they show like she's got pictures on her wall.
And that's not exactly what we have in the Penguin, because he's sort of like roped into that because he tried to steal Penguin's car, and so he's kind of trapped in there. But he very quickly starts admiring Penguin, and Penguin becomes twisted away a father figure. And we have that here too with this girl, where Harvey's a father figure for her.
Especially when you have Di, who is sort of a contrast too between how one's almost the daughter of Harvey, one's the daughter of Two-Face.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Wait, and it's bookended so well. Both with the I just thought of this. Both with the game piece idea, kind of bookended. That's issue 2, but it's still early. But also, like, I didn't expect Zaz to come back.
I know, yeah. I mean, we probably should have. I mean, he's not going to leave. What was it? Lake was.
Yes, yeah, well, that's true because he gets infatuated with her and wants to add her to his like soul collection. Have we ever gone that far with Zaz where he's like regularly? Maybe we have, and I just don't remember. But where he's actually constantly talking to the people, the women that he's murdered, like they're part of him now. Because he's always talked about it like that, where he's like adding them to him. But we play it like Two-Face with this. We're like they're in there, and he's talking to them.
Yeah,
and the word balloons come out of the scars, which is so freaking messed up.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah.
But I love that. Like, Zaz knows which scar represents which woman, and when they talk to him in his mind, we get balloons from the scars.
Yeah, I mean,
this book is great.
It really is. No, it's amazing too.
The more we're talking about it, I kind of think this might be like top 3 material for what we've reviewed so far.
I mean, I keep thinking that too. Yeah.
Yeah, the more we're talking, I'm kind of in love with it.
It's funny because this does feel like the Two-Face book that we've always kind of been wanting, and we just didn't know it. Like, you might have wanted a book that would go into Two-Face as a character. You might have wanted something that dealt with like how he manages like both sides of his brain. But this did it like not only again, this showed how locked in he actually is, and with a lot of the imagery, like almost literally too. At least in his like mindscape. But yeah, it's also just I was just kind of surprised how good this book was and how much it was giving me exactly kind of what I wanted about the character, and just having again just having Harvey sort of fighting himself in multiple ways, and doing that with, again, on top of everything, on top of how well it plays with the dynamic of Two-Face, how well it plays with the character study, just the fact that it does so many really neat and clever things with the Batman Rogues Gallery, with like Gotham just as a toolbox. I mean, it's basically great on like so many different levels.
Well, anytime you can get this fresh with this material again, I get excited, because I keep thinking that this is all kind of like retreaded territory, and we've said everything we can say with these characters, and then you get something like this, and like Batman Dark Patterns, and like there are several examples recently where which is funny because DC publishes way too much Batman, and where we've wended back around to maybe this isn't as played out as I thought it was. And like you said, how's it been like 80 plus years of Batman lore, and we've never done some of this seems so obvious now that I've seen it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
We're like quintessential and should have been an episode of the animated series.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this feels like it should. I forget who it was. It may have even been like Matt Fraction that said that sometimes you'll see an idea or a writer do something that just seems obvious, and it almost makes you mad because you should have thought of it first.
Yeah, like why did I do that before?
Yeah.
My camera has stalled out. I don't know what that's about.
Oh no.
I gotta fix it, Chris.
Oh. Technical difficulties, everybody.
Yeah, well, we're almost finished anyway.
Yeah.
That's good. Hopefully it comes back.
We'll just look at a still photo while we gush about Two-Face.
Now I'm just not even here. Weird. Okay, well, we really might have to finish up here, because I don't even have a camera now. I have disappeared completely. Well, I love this book. Good night, everybody.
Yeah, we recommend it. See ya.
It was wonderful. Austin has, with a super chat, saved us from Eddie Brock carnage.
Yeah.
And he's asking us to review a Swamp Thing book, Green Hell. Not to be confused with Green Hill. It's the Green Hell Zone. Da-na-na-na-na-na.
Dr. Robotnik, get away from the green.
And
please put away that arcade tome.
He said if it's not too old, that's 2021. We've gone all the way back to 20 before, so that's fine with me.
Yeah.
I've not even heard
it's
of that.
still of the decade.
It's Jeff Lemire.
Oh.
And I typically really like him, so.
Yeah. Oh crap! No, he did. I was trying to remember if he did New 52 Swamp Thing. That was Snyder. That was Snyder that did that. He did
Yes.
Animal Man.
No, that's way further back. Oh, SS Jerry is suddenly fighting to pick the book for next week. Now, I gotta admit, SS Jerry, I know next to nothing about Resident Evil, so I don't know if you want me to do a Resident Evil book. Yes, I like zombies. He says, $5 super chat, thanks for the support. He says, guys, I'm sorry I'm not on camera here. I cannot get this to come back.
Just gotta look at my face now. Sorry, everyone.
My camera has completely disappeared here, and I don't know why. Here, I'm gonna try to unplug it and plug it back in.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I mean,
he says, let me read the super chat. He says, try Resident Evil Infinite Darkness 2024. I've never heard of that. I don't know anything about Resident Evil. But I guess we can do it.
I mean, I've played the Resident Evil games you're supposed to have played. There's a lot of video game franchises where it's
nobody can make you do anything you don't want to do, Chris.
Well, no, here's the thing too. I like Resident Evil, I do. But so I mean, I think I've got a fairly decent grasp on the lore.
I'm back.
I know about,
Thank God, that was driving me insane. Anyway.
Yeah. But again too, once all you really need to know is the Umbrella Corporation, stars, then you're good. I don't think that the Resident Evil, even if it's this recent, I'm not sure if they're gonna go into Las Plagas or whatever's up with the creepy family in 7 or Big Vampire Lady in 8. I gotta be honest, the new Resident Evil games actually kind of give me motion sickness, but Lady Dimitrescu was worth it.
Well, anyway, I think I just on principle have to go with the higher super chat, of course, because that's how this works, and it's the rules we've set up, and B, Austin works with us So it would be unfair, and he's already said he won't do that for him to like get in a bidding war with somebody. So he just did that because he wants us to read that book, and was mercifully saving us from Eddie Brock Carnage. So the way I'm going to play this is next week we will do SS Jerry's. And like, apologies if I have nothing to say about that, or I don't appreciate it because I don't know anything about that game series. But an odd pick for me, but I'll do it. Hopefully it's readable without knowing very much.
Yeah.
But because I've had very little experience with that that property. But then if we don't get any super chats next time, we'll make Austin's pick the default, and so that will be the new default. Until we get another super chat, and then we'll go back to threatening Eddie Brock Carnage after that.
Yes. So, we've at least got a little bit of comfort there. A little bit of padding for our fall.
Yeah. No, that feels like Dick Grayson with a net.
Exactly.
So, that's good. What do I'm ready... That was a sentence. Anyway, everybody, thanks a lot for watching. And it's 1 in the morning. What do you want from me? I appreciate you guys, and I hope you enjoyed the show. We will be back again next week with another one. And Resident Evil was not on my bingo card, but that's what we're doing next time. And we'll have a bunch of absolute books and other things to talk about next time. And Austin will probably return with his pulls. And in the meantime, Chris, thanks for discording in.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It gave me an excuse to get my laptop and webcam all set up too.
Yeah, it looks good.
Thank you.
You unlike some people, I'm not dogging on anybody I work with right now, but I've had this problem in the past. You actually turned the lights on, which is
yeah.
Which I really appreciate.
I straight up got like light bulbs out of a cupboard just to do this too. It's like I've had like a flickering light bulb up here for like the past 5 months. It's like I probably should fix that.
Oh God, I'd go into convulsions if you had that on the whole time.
Exactly. Yeah. So, you gave me an excuse to actually do something productive.
Well, you're welcome. And now you don't have to drive home and stop at a gas station.
Yes, exactly. Quick Trip's gonna miss me. That Taco Bell is gonna be real sad I'm out there.
Somebody's not gonna get their $4.95 tonight.
Somebody's not gonna get their $4.95.
Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I'm worried that we oversold it. Read that Two-Face mini.
Yes.
It kind of blew my mind. Anyway, see you next time. I was Captain Logan, and this was Chris. Good night.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, folks.
Night. Bye. All right.